Good, Chuba?
Yes, sir.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath day, y'all, as we get about our Abba's business. Y'all know how we get down. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem as it is mentioned in the scriptures. 1 Kings 8, Daniel chapter 6. Also, y'all, men are to uncover their head. Women are to cover their head when praying and prophesying within the assembly. Y'all, we lift our hands up high as 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8 states. Because we want the Most High to lift us up today, y'all, with his mighty word in the name of his only begotten Son. Long live the King.
Long live the King. All right, family, we're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only beloved and begotten Son.
Yes, sir.
Our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach, but we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King. Long live the King. Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 16th chapter, it reads, "Preserve me, O Yah, for in thee do I put my trust.
Sir.
O my soul, thou hast said unto the Most High,
Sir.
thou art my Elohim. My goodness extended not to thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. Yahweh is the portion of mine inheritance,
Yes,
and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Most High, who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Most High always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved.
Yes, sir.
Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Yes, sir.
Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Hallelujah! Say that! All right, y'all.
All praises, bro. Psalm 16.
Yes, sir.
Shabbat Shalom again, family. Y'all, before we get started, y'all, it's with our most sincere regret and heartfelt pain, along with the family of Mr. Mike Buggs. Y'all, we lost our brother earlier this week. He fought a good fight, y'all.
Yeah, he did.
And we got hope in the resurrection.
Yes, sir.
And y'all, that means we got to do right if we want to see Brother Mike Buggs again.
Yeah.
You know, I have been in contact with his wife, and she informed me she and her two children are doing as best as can be for this type of situation. But she is a strong sister in the fight, and soon I'll have some information for us, you know, if anybody want to send any condolences. Y'all know how we do. We'll definitely send some here from the STL. Condolences on the passing of our beloved brother, Mike Buggs. Also want to send shouts out to all the sick and shut in, y'all. Y'all know who they are. Y'all know who you are. Y'all, we continue to pray for our brethren. It's the only healing weapon we have for long distance, y'all. Want to send shouts out also to our sister Stacy Young. Her mom is doing much better, but still a ways to go right now for, to where you can smile like you used to again.
Right.
Shouts out to Sister Tashasha Bala. I always mess that up, don't I? I'm sorry, Sister Sharon. You down there in Houston, Texas. Ron and Betty Lemons, that Dabrium, Kevin Jenkins, that Charles Moore in Florida. Sister Ada Robinson from the House of Rontuvia. Angela Wise right here in STL. Sister Malia Humphrey, Tarsha Robinson at Ark Lord. Shouts out to y'all. Just want to acknowledge y'all fellow servants all around the world. Shouts out to our families over in Israel. Shouts to our families in Jamaica, all over this world, y'all. We want to just say one love, y'all, as we get closer to approaching the beginning of the new year of the feast day. So, y'all, we'll be giving information out soon concerning the Passover. We got Purim coming up.
What's up?
March 16th. Start of it. And then 30 days thereafter, we'll get right into the Passover. 50 days thereafter, the Feast of Pentecost. Then we get into our fall feast.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, so we got to be up on game. We got some appointments coming up.
Yes, sir.
So y'all, today's lesson, life more abundantly. How can we live life more abundantly without Yeshua, the only begotten of the Father? You can have an abundant life with mammon, or the god of money, and we're only talking about material things, but you know what? 20 cars can only be driven one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have $1 billion and you cannot stop the aging process. That's the only way you can't live life more abundantly like you would like. You can buy everything this planet has to offer, a yacht, but you can only still be in one place at one time. No matter how many surgeries you get, that old ticker in your chest tells the date of your birthday. And you start to think, I'm going to have to leave all this behind. I know death is coming on me.
Mm-hmm.
Life abundantly is about to come to an end in this world as we know it.
Yeah, but no matter how much money you got, you can't buy time.
You can't buy it.
You can't save no time. You want to put some time in your baby
No,
name?
you can't put no time in your baby name.
No, you can't do none of that. Yeah, man.
And it's like a famous blues singer song. Father Time is catching up to me. Done caught up with me. You know what I'm saying?
Running inside me.
Gone is my youth. Because when I look in the mirror, it tells me the truth. You ain't fooling yourself.
I'm getting long in the tooth.
Oh, boy, look here.
You died in marriage.
So, y'all, we looking for that life abundantly where we don't have to be talking about these things. Where when the weather changes, it don't cause problems with your kneecaps.
Man, why you want to bring that?
Boy, look here. Shoulder and elbow tingling. So, y'all, we need life abundantly, y'all. And the only person we can get it from is the high priest, Shalom Lyson, the order of Melchizedek. You back there doing a little artwork, huh? The order of Melchizedek, y'all. Y'all know how we get down with it. Yahweh Shai, the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, is the law. And we understand Melchizedek to be from male, female, rich or poor, free or bond, Jew or Gentile. Shalom, bro. You back there working?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All praises, bro. We got any questions or concerns before we get started, y'all? Because we got a little bit of reading to go through today. We're going to get up on game on Melchizedek, a virgin birth before the flood. So, y'all, we're going to see that there's nothing new in this walk. And we're going to understand, y'all, what Solomon meant in Ecclesiastes 5th chapter when he said, enjoy the fruits of your labor of this life. Because it could come and go like a drop in the hat or a drop in the bucket. it's gone before you know it.
You know, that's funny, man, because, you know, I do those storage locker auctions. Well, I used to until I filled up the building. Now I need to have a safe.
Right.
But I was watching the show on TV the other day, the storage locker show, and the dude said, "You ain't never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul. You can't take it with you."
So can't take it with you, bro. You ain't never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul. If he did, it's going to be another dump truck out there to dig right back up what you put down in that hole. Right. You can't take it with you, y'all.
Right. So
what you got over there, Tupac? Go ahead. Will you finish, bro?
I was just going to say that the more things you accumulate doesn't make your life more abundant. It's the quality of life that you live.
Absolutely, bro. That's what we're talking about.
What you got, Tupac?
Brother Floyd Hill Jr. asked a question. He asked, I have a question that was asked to me that I need help with. If Adam and Eve were the only two people on earth, and they had Cain and Abel, how could Cain and Abel set out to find wives?
Well, they never set out to find wives. When we read the scripture, it say when he got to the land of Nod, he knew his wife. So it's two ways you got to look at knew. Like, hey, I remember you from the other side of the world before I got kicked out of the garden. All sexual intercourse. He knew her. So it didn't never say he met her there. He knew her. And it says she bare the firstborn son of Cain. So when you understand it from that perspective, his wife was with him when he got cast out the garden. But the curse of Eve was to have sorrow during childbirth and multiple conceptions. What do multiple conceptions mean? Conception means to be made pregnant. When you multiply that, what does that produce? Twins. Cain and Abel had twin brothers and twin sisters. Just like the same program was supposed to be for Esau and Jacob. Because Isaac was upset with Esau marrying that Canaanite woman. So who was Esau supposed to marry? If Jacob and Esau were twins, and Leah and Rachel were twins, who was Esau supposed to marry? There's some study for you. So you understand they were disappointed in who Esau married. Then there was a bride that he should have married. Is that correct? Or the daddy wouldn't have been upset. So y'all, we have to understand these things. They go much deeper than one man, one woman, because you still got to address the fact that only one man and one woman got off the ark. And they went to different parts of planet Earth. Ham went to this land, Shem went to this part of land, and Japheth went to the islands. And they produced one man and one woman. So it's not an uncommon practice, being that Cain learned one man and one woman from his daddy, Adam. Because Adam didn't have 2 or 3 women, did he?
No.
He had one woman for 930 years. Think we can get along with that? One woman for 930 years? Now, look here. When we understand how oft should I forgive my brother, till 7 times, Messiah say, I tell you to 7 times 70, which is 490 times. You know who you need that for? If you married, you need that for inside your household. You think about 490 times, that's only a year and a half. If you say, I forgive you for every different transgression, that's only a year and a half of transgression, different ones. Because you can't repeat the same one and say, you forgive somebody or they repent. It wouldn't be the same one.
Exactly.
But in your house, you will run out of 490 times in a year and a half if you had one sin a day transgressed against you and they said, I'm sorry. Right. If they were all different, you would say, I have to forgive you. If you have that many troubles with somebody outside of your house, you got an enemy.
Yeah.
A true enemy.
Yeah.
So y'all, when you understand that like that, and you argue in your relationship at home, that's why I say go to the corner of a rooftop of a house. I didn't tell you to do that for your partner. Thou shalt flee from him. The angry partner of yours, you should run to another partner's house. No, it don't say that. It only say that about inside your house.
Right.
So y'all, when you really understand why the Messiah was saying that, because his whole doctrine is about a marriage covenant. Any more questions out there too? But I hope that answered the question for Ox Floyd. Ox Floyd down there in Florida, ain't he?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm waiting for the answer back in. Answer back to ask it.
Okay, any more questions?
No, sir.
We're going to get right to it, y'all, so y'all know how we do it. We want to see who and what makes life more abundantly. So y'all, let's get to John chapter 10. And we're going to move right to Hebrews 3rd chapter, y'all, because what we want to do is continue to pound the order of Melchizedek. It's the problem in Israel, y'all. It's who is the priest. Is it men that teach reincarnation that they have hold of the priest? Is it Peter because he say we're a royal priesthood, so we think we all can be a priest? No, the order of Melchizedek was given one per individual. Mm-hmm. Now, are we little priests under the order of Melchizedek? Yes, we are. But we have one high priest and one only that can ensure life more abundantly. I'm talking about where you ride a chariot with no recall on it. Ain't got to take it back to the dealer.
Right.
I'm talking about where you just not worried about being healthy. You are healed and cured of any pain and disease. Y'all have to understand the best this flesh can get is called made to be healthy. That don't mean ain't nothing wrong with it. It just means you can have a pickup game of basketball in your age. You can ride a bike around the corner at your age. But it ain't nothing down here on this planet, all the money on planet Earth can stop this dying flesh. Mm-hmm. And our lesson today gonna get into life more abundantly, y'all, because we got to fix that curse in the garden. Yo, that was a sexual seduction that took place that caused the problem for us. That's why this flesh died. And it said it ain't going to be fixed until the tree that spewed that poison out there is put to bed. Now, we was told that when we got into this walk that took place 10 to 12,000 years ago, right? So how we come in here and get tired after 2 or 3 years? Man, I tried to read the Bible. You accepted it, and we talking about from the Garden of Eden. How you tired and you studying about 12,000 years ago, and you tired after 2 or 3 years and you want to bail out? What you going to? But a life less abundantly.
Back to your own Bible.
Once you get it, you're going to have enough. Just like y'all been watching that Hugh Hefner. It's talking about what went on in the Playboy Mansion. So many women and so much decadence and orgyisms. Then the one lady say she came in and Hugh Hefner was handling her dog.
What?
Say they need love too. They have feelings, but that's when you done run out.
That's terrible.
Then he say he started approaching other men that he used to watch with his women. And now he want to move to that. Y'all, but that's when lasciviousness take hold of you.
That's a real Me Too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm talking about, y'all, a level of decadence that you ain't never seen before. Going on up in the Playboy Mansion. Where all the stars go. Bill Cosby had his own room there. Yeah, Bill Cosby had his own room there.
Y'all got to watch that. I'm watching it right now, that Bill Cosby thing.
Yeah.
The different segments. They telling it all. They go all the way back to the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying, you get that Spanish fly, you put it on the head of a needle. He was telling the whole deal. I'm like, sorry about that, Bill. You just tripped, boy. That boy, I ain't lying, man. It's a few good things to watch out there. I told the rib I was going to suggest. It's a documentary. It's called Yeah, right. That's the name of it. It's gonna be all white.
Okay.
It's on Showtime.
Oh,
It's a 4-part series. It's very informative. So you should watch that one. And there's another one. The voice box. Is that what it is? Video box. The video box. Yeah, video music box about the beginning of hip hop and the brother who started doing videos and stuff first before MTV. MTV wasn't having it, and it was very informative as well, man. There's some good programming out there to watch right now because they telling it all.
Right. Absolutely, bro. So, y'all, what we're looking for is to have life more abundantly. And, y'all, we're going to get down to it. But you got to know the high priest in order to have life more abundantly. As much as we had to understand and learn the order of Aaron, it's even more detrimental with learning the order of Melchizedek because it's the priesthood at the beginning. It's a different priest, y'all. You can't sacrifice or look to Aaron and Moses to handle this business. Their time is up. Let's get into this, y'all. John chapter 10, verse 1. And we'll read down to 18.
What's up, Bob?
What'd you say?
Tupac Jackson asked, question. I have been trying to figure out how, why in the 66, why women's names are not mentioned. In genealogy and only the sons are mentioned.
In where?
In genealogy.
When he's saying why women's names are not mentioned, I don't know what 66 you got, Ark, because they mention all this. When you get into Romans 16 chapter, it'll run a whole host of women. You got the book of Judges that talks about Deborah. And Ruth, you got and Ezekiel were a daughter of Daniel. They don't talk about a woman's genealogy. Shalom. Well, naturally, because 1 Corinthians 11, the man is head of woman. You know, that's the order. It's just order. So you list it from the order perspective. But now when a woman comes into that order, it lets you know what caused the change in that order. That she had to be listed, but normally you just giving it from the instructional order of the Godhead. The Father's the head of Christ, Christ the head of man, man the head of woman. So it's going to always repeat that order so things don't get out of order. But there's plenty of women, like I say, you get into Romans 16, you get into other where it say Mary Magdalene and Martha. There was top disciples, y'all, women disciples. But when you talking about running their lineage, only if their husband was dead, then you would talk about them in the sense that they had to follow the rules like the daughters of Zelophehad. That where you have a commandment, a father must leave an inheritance to his firstborn son. Well, if he have daughters only, what do you do about that situation? Well, the situation is that daughter offspring, if she's a Judite, she can marry another Judite. And then if they have a son, the inheritance passed through that seed of the woman, so to speak, to that offspring. That's what allowed Christ to sit on the throne as a king. The inheritance was able to be passed. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, absolutely, because these laws have the Bible in there. So they are following the same thing. What we get caught up on is the new laws that they add, not to these laws, but to themselves. And then it'll go state by state. Some states don't do what Missouri will do. You know what I'm saying? Some states legalize chronic. Some states don't. But when we talk about the law of God and punishment of individuals, they go by the script. Shalom. Who at that door? Leave out the door. Okay. Okay. All right. So y'all, that's what we want to get understood is that when it talks about women, it's not from the perspective of out of order, that it must be in order. But he don't deprive women of righteous position. He just let you know in Corinthians, the woman came from the man. But neither is the man without the woman. Because you ain't going to get no little Theo from another man. You need a woman. James Brown said that, didn't he?
That's right.
Before he went crazy. Hope that answered this question. But the only time you see it really even running a man's lineage is when it was talking about war. In the book of Numbers, you had to have the heads of the tribes then because it's war. Women didn't get in the army, in our armies. No, we wouldn't put no woman to battle, but did women sometimes have a manly stomach? Yeah, we done seen some deals where women didn't handle their business. Then had to put some Hebrew men down, ordered by the Most High. Ruth and Deborah, judges, they got to make decisions. Look, it's set up the Supreme Court copy the same thing. Judges and deacons and apostles are like sitting on the Supreme Court of what we're talking about, the church body down here. And they got to be blameless. Like the new sister they just picked for the Supreme Court. Now they finna run her jacket and see if she blameless.
She's about to get vetted.
And it's called vetted. But all we want to see is, does she have a current fault that we can say, no, we can't put you on her because you're biased. That's what they're getting ready to do, and that's what always happens.
Does she have any Me Too moments?
Any Me Too moments, right. And faking it so later on she can do this, but they digging in your record since back to Head Start. And they checking every friend that hang around you.
That's why she went on and fessed up like, yeah, my brother been in penitentiary. Like,
Had to, they was gonna run the story. They gonna run the story.
Right.
And how do you feel about your brother being in the penitentiary? Do you feel and they gonna run it, and once she's found not blameless, they gonna let her go, just like a deacon or a bishop in these scriptures. Y'all, they copying the same law. But they're just saying it's our highest court, so we gotta make sure we don't trip with this. But y'all, let's finish up. Hope that answered the question. John chapter 10, verse 1.
All right, family. Reading in the book of John, chapter 10. We'll start the reading in verse 1. Get some understanding, family. Verily, verily, I say unto you.
Shalom, sister, you outside, you done made it. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Start again.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
So, any other way, any other priest you talking about, not under the order of Melchizedek,
right,
as the high priest, the one that gave his life for us, that fulfilled all of the prophecies. Because everybody in this book always asks, are you that prophet? They thought it was going to be John the Baptist. You that prophet? And that's what they would ask. Who's fulfilling the prophecy? You can't, ain't no new booties out here tomorrow. I'm fulfilling that prophecy.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Yes, sir.
To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name.
How he call them?
By name.
Not by numbers. Not by skin color, but by name. And the name will be changed. If you know your name right now, spell it. No, these names we selected for ourselves. But he got a name for us. And he'll change your name when you're his friend. Like he changed Abraham's, like he changed Sarah's, like he changed Jacob. He'll change your name and you'll know your name for history. Go ahead.
And leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them.
What'd he do?
He goeth before them. And the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow.
What will they not do?
They will not follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
You know not the voice of strangers, if it's not of this sheepfold. Sheepfold?
Huh?
Sheepfold.
Yeah.
I was combining both of them, wasn't I?
I thought you were
Putting
saying
both of them
Zeppo.
together. Look, that was, yeah, you talked about the Edomite, huh? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
This parable spake Yeshua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them.
So we see right here, a lot of times the disciples didn't understand what the Messiah was saying to them. But as a teacher, because they called him rabbi, a teacher explains situations, don't they? How can they be a teacher and can't explain?
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
Then said Yeshua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep.
So that clear that confusion up out of their mind. I'm the door. Go ahead.
All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture.
So he say anybody else that was calling themselves Messiah is a thief. Don't go following him. He gonna lead you astray. Right. Moses never said that. Moses slipped with the tongue.
Yeah.
And included himself with the Godhead. He didn't replace him. He just included himself in with tainted blood and said, shall we give you this? Yeah.
Yeah.
The father like, what's with this French talk? We. How dare you elevate yourself? You know the Messiah's coming. You're going to teach him the Messiah's coming. And then you're going to sit in this seat, Moses. You and Aaron going to pay for that later. Y'all understand, Aaron and them didn't even get punished for the golden calf. In Numbers 20 and 25, or maybe vice versa, 25 and 20, he say, Aaron, I'm putting you to death for what you and Moses did when y'all spoke ill-advised. I don't care nothing about that calf. I forgave you for that. But you going to pay for this one. He said, now it's time for you to die. How would y'all, or would you want to hear that the father say, it's time for you to die? But you ain't what?
Ready.
It's time, yeah, ready is all you can say. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy.
Y'all see what the thief come to do? If a thief break in your house, that's what's going to happen if he get hold to the right thing. Right. When you run to your secret spot and it's toe open, boy, your heart will sink, won't it?
Boy.
You like they got it.
Got me.
Go ahead.
I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
See, the good shepherd give his life. He don't ask the sheep to give their life for him.
Right.
He didn't ask us to die for him. He said, keep the commandments, and it may cost you your life. But I came to die for y'all. Y'all ain't dying for me. Let's get it understood.
Right.
So don't strap no dynamite vest around you. Don't jump off of her and holler, Yeshua! You just done waste some good holler. Where we at, bro?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming.
What they see?
He seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth.
What he do? He run on off, huh?
He ran off.
Okay.
And the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep.
So the hireling is somebody that's in charge But to him, he's not in charge to keep your life safe. It's just a job to him.
It's just a job.
It's like a security guard versus a watchman. A watchman don't care about you stealing. I'm not here to stop you from stealing. I'm just watching to see if you gon' steal. And then I call the police.
Right.
That's like a hireling. I'm not here to prevent the devil from attacking y'all. I just got a job. I'm a watchman. Mm-hmm. I'm not a security guard. The Messiah is a security guard. He protects us. He watch over us. The hireling is like the watchman.
Right.
Just looking to see what's going to happen. He ain't going to intervene. Somebody can run up behind you with some nunchucks and knock your skull open, and he'll just watch and say, hey, I'm going to call the police.
Right.
But he ain't coming out there to take them nunchucks from you, is he?
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine.
Yes, sir.
As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring.
So I got to get some that ain't of the stock of Israel.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they shall hear my voice. And there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Because it can only be one, even if a heathen come in, they have to accept him as the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Just like everybody else on planet Earth did. Ham knew it was an order of Melchizedek when they got off the ark. So did Japheth and Shem. They knew the order. They saw who the priesthood clothes was given to. Ham and Shem saw it was given. Ham and Japheth saw Noah put it on Shem. They like, he got it. He got the juice.
Right.
He got Melchizedek. Yep. That didn't stop them from having a blessing. No more than Isaac was given Melchizedek. That's why Esau was crying like he was. But it wasn't designed for him to get it no way. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I may take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father.
See, it was a commandment he received of his Father. This is what we have to understand. I'm going to command you to gain the power to lay your life down and take it back again. But you got to keep my commandments. You ain't going to be able to do that if you sin, because that's going to kill your flesh, and you'll never be able to take your life again. See, if Adam had never sinned, his life would have never been taken by death. That's what we're trying to get back to, y'all.
Right.
Where death has no power over your flesh anymore. Let's head right to it, y'all. Hebrews, the 3rd chapter, and we're going to get some understanding, because it's going to deal with the two men or the two intercessors that the Bible only speaks of, that the Most High say, I spoke mouth to mouth with them. The Messiah, long way before Moses was born. And he spoke to Moses face to face as a man speaking to his friend. But Paul going to go into the difference of these two individuals and why it cost Moses at the waters of Meribah, at the waters of strife, when he said, shall we? Let's read some more.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, and we'll start the reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? Let's get some understanding, family. Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahawashah.
What did they call him?
The high priest of our profession, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he who hath builded the house had more honor than the house.
See, Moses said that in Deuteronomy 18 chapter. Another one's coming. That's the deal. You don't listen to him, it's going to cost you dearly. I have to listen to him. Let's read some more.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is Yah.
Yes, sir.
And Moses verily was faithful in all his house, as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. But a Mashiach as a son over his own house.
Over his what?
Over his own house.
Uh-huh.
Whose house are we?
Uh-huh.
If we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end.
See, what we got to do? We got to rejoicing of the hope firm until how long?
Until the end.
How you tired and ready to quit already? You looking for something else.
Right.
It's a marriage covenant.
Yep.
You get tired of this that quick and you ready to go play the harlot with another god? What you got back there, Thomas?
That's because the world had already snuck attacked them and conditioned them and desensitized them to where your attention span is as long as a 60-second commercial.
Boy, that's a short attention. Boy, you giving them a break with 60 seconds.
You hear it? They have no attention span. It's not there. It's like it's grease up under it. It's there, but then it's sliding.
Yeah, boy, you talking about like trying to pin Pat O'Connor back in the day. Boy, it was like he had goose grease on him. You couldn't pin him. He slide right from under. See, that's what they want to do. They want to slide from under judgment like that. But going to another doctrine ain't going to make you slide under like Pat O'Connor.
That's why you was watching that Walking on the Dark Side last week when they gave that 1940s and 1950s film about fake news and mind control.
Yeah.
It is right here, right now. We live it.
But mind control is only done through unbelief. It's not that you can be seduced with truth. Truth is an absolute. If a woman watched the baby be born out of her and they put the baby right in her arms, can they tell her really, while you were asleep last night and we shot you up with that drug, you can feel it, but we stuffed Mary's baby up in you. So you really had her baby. This really ain't yours. You think she'll believe that? Or is that a lie?
Well, that's just a lie.
And you started to look and say, well, the baby hair is kind of nappy and that don't look like. No. So we're only deceived through unbelief. When you come into this, you got to believe every word of it because you'll believe it anyway. You just want to attribute it to the Most High. There's things you can't see that we talk about like we can see it with the naked eye. Mm-hmm. We talk about the wind like we can see it, don't we? Man, you feel that. Give it a name and can't see it. Mm-hmm. But you can feel it though, can't you? Let's move on.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation, in the day of temptation, in the wilderness. When your fathers tempted me.
What did the fathers do?
Tempted me. Proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my way.
See, it ain't knowing his name. Like if you think because you know his most sacred name, that's going to stop you from sinning.
Right.
He said, know my ways. Mm-hmm. When you know somebody's ways, they act just like the person that taught. Your ways are just like your dad. A single mama get mad at the daddy. She'd say to the son, you ain't going to be S. You going to be dumb like your daddy because he ain't dumb. If he's following his ways. But the way of the Lord is truth and righteousness. Let's read some more.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
So I swear in my wrath.
What did he do?
I swear in my wrath. They shall not enter into my rest.
So what rest is he talking about? You think he talking about today's Sabbath or next coming Sabbath? Or why is the Messiah and the prophecy is talking about what rest? It got nothing to do with ain't worrying about next weekend.
Right.
Because you still got to go labor for 6 more days, don't you? Mm-hmm. Let's read some more.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief.
What kind of heart?
An evil heart of unbelief. In departing from the living Elohim.
Hold right there just a second and just give me Romans 11. And we're going to see the natural branch, what made them fall off, and the only thing that they can get back in. How they can get back in the fold. Y'all hold that Hebrews because we're coming right back to it. Give me Romans 11, and I believe it's right between 9 and 11. If they continue not. Let me get right there. 1 second. Verse 7 is what we want? Yeah.
What then Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh.
I'll tell you what started verse 5. That's very important because it's a word in there.
Even so then, at this present time.
Hold on, I hear some pages flipping. Y'all there with us?
That's because he's in the back.
Okay. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Verse 5.
Even so then, at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
A remnant according to the election of grace, meaning unmitigated favor. Because ain't no works you can do to guarantee it.
Right.
If it had been a law that you can do that guaranteed the kingdom, we wouldn't need the Messiah. But there ain't no laws that you can do that you can walk in. Call the Messiah law, but believe that he's that law. And then that'll get you in. But you can't believe in him half-heartedly or believe that he was born through fornication. Mm-hmm. Let's read some more.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
And if it by grace, then is it no more of works?
Then it is no more of works.
Otherwise, grace is no more of grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more of grace.
Right.
Otherwise, work is no more of work.
So basically, it's telling you, look, if it ain't by grace, then it's by works. But works can't get you in. So grace is removed from that. So what Paul is asking, what work can you do that's going to guarantee you the kingdom?
Right.
Romans chapter 6, verse 1 and 2. What shall we say then?
Yeah.
Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
Right.
God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
That's what I'm talking about, Thomas. Let's get back to this.
He that are dead to sin live any longer therein.
Right. Absolutely, bro. That's what we're talking about, Thomas.
You want to go back?
I want to go back to verse 7.
11, verse 7. What then?
So he asked the question then, what then? If we talking grace and works, what then? Go ahead.
Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained. And the rest were blind.
And the rest was what?
Blind.
And y'all read the rest of that, but just drop down to verse 20. It's going to get into why they were blinded. Go ahead. Verse 19, that's what I want. Y'all read all the way down to there. It gets right into it. Talk about the natural branch and the wild olive branch. Go ahead.
Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Keep going.
Yeah, verse 20, what we want.
Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off.
See, this is the only reason Israel was broken off is because of what?
Unbelief.
Go ahead.
And
And what we standing by?
I don't need no prejudice on my slave.
That ain't in there.
No, bro. Look, ain't no producer listening. Zev up here and he already said no. So go ahead. Look here, go ahead. That ain't gonna help you. He ain't making no beats because you say you your twist. Yo, ain't trying to smooth Zev over. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
For it is God spared not.
Read that again.
For if God spared not the natural branch, take heed lest he also spare not thee.
So that lets us know how important belief is. Yo, unbelief is just being in something you really don't believe in. Right. You're waiting on somebody to prove the Bible wrong for you and you still in it. That's wasting your time, ain't it? You're waiting, hoping somebody can explain, I don't want to be here. I'm just trapped here. No, you trapped in your soul. You're looking for another deliverer. Hopefully in your lifetime. You'll take anybody.
Right.
Let's read some more. What you got out there, Tobias? Get back to that Hebrews where we was at.
Question in the chat right here. If the day to the Lord, I can't read that name is
Deshauna.
Deshauna Bartley asks, the day to the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. Was creation 7 literal days or 7,000 years?
Well, since the sun and the moon weren't created to the 4th day, what we gonna do about them first 3 days? Because look, you only get a 24-hour clock from the sun and the moon. That wasn't created to the 4th day. So you got 3 days without a sun and a moon, and you got night and day. So it's just telling you the 4th day the sun and moon was set up in case we sin. That's called Plan B. You go under artificial sun, so to speak. That's why when we come to the kingdom, they say there's no need for the sun or the moon because there's no night there. We go back to Genesis 1:1 through the 3rd day, and then the 4th day, the sun, the moon, and the stars were created. So yes, 1,000 years were the increments in 1,000 years, but you're talking about in the Father's time that where there's no clock. It's only the count only starts of a day is after Adam sinned. Then we went into what's called a 24-hour clock because we were governing days by the sun and the moon now. So that made a difference. So now we went on earthly count. 960 years because it tell you a year comprised of 364.5 days according to the book of Enoch, chapter 71 through 80. And Messiah asked, are there not 12 days, 12 hours in the day and 12 hours in the night? So that put us on the 1,000-year man-made count. But the Most High say 1,000 years is as 1 day, y'all. So how long will the kingdom last? I'm talking about Christ, the eternal kingdom. Yo, the eternal kingdom may be as quick as Passover switching into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Because you're not under time anymore. The only time would be for those that coming up in the second resurrection. They got to remain asleep. But you're already into that realm away from natural clock. You won't need a watch in the kingdom. Hey man, can you come over? I think I can be there, bro. Give me about 800 years. I'll be there. It's still within a day. So, yes, those were 1,000 literal years. And it'll tell you weeks of years when you get into Leviticus 25 and Jubilees 50th chapter about the Sabbath. It'll tell you there's weeks of years. So we have to understand the count. And when the count tells you when the Messiah will come, it said 5,500 years the Messiah will be born from Adam. And then we had to wait the time until his second return. Make sense, y'all? Let's read some more. Jubilees 50th chapter. Last chapter about the Sabbath. Go ahead. And then match up with Leviticus 25.
Can we get that Romans 9, 31 and 32?
You can hit that Romans 9. Go ahead, Thomas, while you're there. Ain't no Romans. Oh, yeah. I'm in Hebrews. Go ahead. Go ahead. Run that real quick, bro.
Romans chapter 9, verse 30.
Yeah.
What shall we say then?
Uh-huh.
That the Gentiles, which follow not after righteousness, have attained to righteousness.
Uh-huh.
Even the righteousness which is of faith.
Right.
But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, had not attained to the law of righteousness.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, for they stumbled at the stumbling stone.
Yes, sir. So it's just basically telling you, look, the Pharisees can pull all them stunts they want. They can dress up, but they just like dead men bones. They just like a grave marker. If you don't have faith, if you don't have the shepherd to get to that door, he's the porter at the door. Mm-hmm. You can't bribe him. You can't come up to the door and say, Gabriel and Michael know me, player, check that. None of that. No. Ain't no hookups at the door with this shepherd. He say, I know you, you know me, you know you can't come looking for no hookup. Right. How you ain't prepared to get in here? You gonna leapfrog the line with a hookup.
And see, that's the thing about it. He don't say I work the door. He say I
am the door.
You know? Boy.
And you think you're gonna be able to get by like that?
Yeah.
Well, I was only saying I didn't believe in. I heard so many things, Lord, about how the Bible was tampered with. I was confused. Mm-hmm. Oh, now you want to be confused.
Yeah, took your confused ass
yeah.
over there.
Now you want to be confused.
You should have had faith.
Right.
Well, you got some company because where you going, there's a lot of confusion now.
Yeah.
You fit right in. Let's get some more, y'all. We need to get caught up. We got a little bit of reading to do. Go ahead.
We're going back into the book of Hebrews.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 3, and I'm going to start the reading in verse 12.
Yeah.
Take heed, brethren.
Uh-huh.
Lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living Elohim.
See, unbelief will make you depart. Once you say, I don't believe a man, yeah, that is, or you let word etymology slip in.
Right.
Don't y'all know everybody attack the Bible, never attacks the law of the Most High? Bye, baby girl. Shalom, Martique.
Shalom, shalom.
Don't you know they never, ever attacks the law? Satan gonna make sure of it. He's gonna make sure of it. That's why they come with that word every time you start hearing, well, in the Greek, well, we care about what it says in the Greek. How do you say stealing in the Greek or stop thief in the Greek? And then tell me, say stop thief in the Hebrew. And tell me, does the act, is it any different because of the language? Stop thief means somebody running, looking over their shoulder, low running with possessions that ain't theirs.
Right.
You can say that in Russian. You can say that in Chinese. But that don't change the act that causes sin.
Right.
It's called taking property that don't belong to you.
Yeah.
And look, around here we don't say stop thief. You holler, hey, you black mother. It's the same words, and you start running lower because you say, shit, he the coat. Shalom, sis, go ahead.
Shalom, sis. Verse 13.
Yeah.
But exhort one another daily.
Do what?
Exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
See, let us, while it's called today, exhort one another, y'all. Always a way to lift each other up. Don't worry about it, bro. We ain't got long.
Right.
Exhorting the brother. Not shooting people down every chance you get. We got people out here, their whole doctrine is based off of they can't live unless they're telling a woman you ain't worth 2 dead flies. Their whole doctrine is constantly over and over. The devil daughters of Zion, that I can't stay twixt their legs. Them devilish women that I can't stay twixt their legs and making babies. That's their whole doctrine. Go on it and look and see if you see explaining about feast days. Go on there and look if you see the order of the administration. Go on there, but all you're going to see is that constant behavior. Should I choose a woman that's in the scripture or not in the scripture? Who going to play them games? And you're going to do a class on that, should I choose? What kind of madness is that?
So why did you need that word out there?
What word?
You can't be around here shooting each other on feast day.
Oh, yeah, well, you know how I go, bro. All we're talking about is that's Isaiah 58. That's what strife and debate on feast days, y'all. We just can't have it, y'all. You cannot. It's your doctor appointment. It's like fighting at the doctor's office. The doctor come out, what's going on? You done stole the receptionist. At the doctor's office? Damn, I told you twice that wasn't my birthday. You think the doctor gonna want to see you after that? Go ahead, bro.
And then she the one taking the blood.
Yeah, and she the one taking the blood.
Yeah, go ahead. Get you some of this. Verse 14. For we are made partakers of a Mashiach. If we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end.
If we hold from the beginning unto the end, y'all, that means from Revelation, from Genesis to Revelation. He's Alpha and Omega. You can't put him off. Well, I ain't going to deal with the Messiah up into the first book. I'm only going to deal with him after this verse. No, you can't.
No.
You have to be confident that that's him in the beginning or the end, or you're going to continue your soul to be searching for somebody to fill his shoes.
Right.
Those are awful big shoes to fill, y'all. That's why it says whose children we are. We are his children, Messiah. If you born of him, but you ain't got no daddy, you don't have no faith or trust in.
Right.
Yes, sir. You trying to say something back there, Tom?
That's why I tell you stuff.
What happened?
That's why I wonder why people still go outside, look to go outside what's already given.
They tired of waiting, man. This says long suffering. That's the problem. See, it's the rules. It's the law. There's a law called long suffering. Sometime I put it on you so that you may understand. Psalm 83, he say, I give the wicked long life that they may repent. I'm fair and I'm just. And that's why you look at it and you say, how can David Rockefeller, as wicked as he is, live to be 100 years old? Why would the Father allow some wicked dog to live like that on planet Earth? For what? See, that's why I don't read the Bible and believe in that God. Well,
That ain't why.
Right.
if we run your jacket on Judgment Day, you'll be begging for 99 years to live. Because we all know in here, once you come to the truth of the knowledge and understand what sin is, you say, I should have been dead a long time ago. If it wasn't for grace, I would be dead, because there's no way to fix what I just did. All of them are felonies. Run the felony list real quick, y'all. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. And we're going to have to come back and get this. What you say, Zeb? No, these spiritual felonies. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Just real quick, the felony list, y'all. Y'all got to start right here with this list and knock it off of your sin problems. You got to start with these felonies because they're death penalty felonies. Y'all, it's the real deal. It's as serious as
Yeah.
you think you can go into a white church and kill everybody, white babies too. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
What you going to get? The death penalty, ain't you?
Yes, sir.
Right. But see, it's a fine line there, y'all. If an elevator door open up and it's a 5-year-old white girl baby on it with just a pamper, do you get on?
Oh,
No.
Okay. Just checking. Just checking. Where are we at?
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9.
Yes, sir.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh?
So that's letting you know, don't you know? And it's a question mark. If you don't know, you better know.
Right.
Go ahead.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters,
Right.
nor adulterers,
Right.
nor effeminate,
Right.
nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves,
Right.
nor covetous,
Right.
nor drunkards, nor revelers,
Right.
nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh.
See, but next verse gonna tell you which some of you were, but you've been washed clean, y'all. We got to wash ourselves clean with this spiritual word. You got to get rid of them felonies if it's on there. Them all right there is telling you any of this being practiced up to the day you die, and you're practicing it like you know what the law is, and you're practicing it still. Don't think about getting into the kingdom. It ain't gonna happen. That's why the very next verse says, some of you were, but you were what? Washed.
Yeah.
Like David said, wash me clean with hyssop. David said, we got to be washed clean, y'all. But by the power of the Holy Spirit, because it's the living word and power, so to speak. It's the water. But the shepherd give us that water, y'all. Let's read some more.
The same one?
No, we through with that. We come on back. Where we at? Hebrews 3.
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3.
I want to move through them. We're going to get on through that.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
While it is said, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation.
Right.
For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit not all that came out of Egypt was Moses. By Moses. But with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned?
With them that had done what?
That had sinned? Whose carcasses fell in the wilderness?
See, when we're talking about sin, them felony sins we just read, that's what knocked them off in the wilderness for 40 years. They were felony sins. Started off with a golden calf coming right out of Egypt. Then started whining and complaining. Dathan and 3,000 more was talking noise. Whining and complaining, getting into stuff. Do you know that's what Nehushtan that the brother spoke about last week had to be erected? Don't y'all know that was in the wilderness? I'm talking about so bad men were sinning that scorpions were stinging them in the wilderness. And we think the wilderness, people today have you thinking the wilderness, you just sit back chilling, waiting on the Messiah to come. Baby, some more of them grapes over there when you're going over. You going over there and get some of them grapes in the hideout spot, grape spot. Baby, few them back. Yeah, the Messiah ain't going to be too much longer, y'all. Ain't going to be too much longer. Yeah, give me some of that goat's milk over there too, yeah. Are you serious? Y'all, we're in the wilderness of the people right now. Trying not to be cast away like Dathan and Korah. But just like in the wilderness, y'all, men run off and chase other gods, y'all, and we had just got married. Don't y'all know Mount Sinai was a marriage covenant? He sprinkled the people with blood like hymen blood on the sheet of a virgin on the honeymoon day. And here's the covenant of the marriage. Boy, do you know, while they were signing the documents, the bride was getting her groove on. Can you imagine the groom standing there waiting with the preacher and the bride back in the back getting some work done? Trying not to be as graphic, but let's read some more.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
And to whom sware he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not.
See, that's who shall not enter into his rest. Who is it again?
The unbelievers. Those that believe not.
So, y'all, that's what he's saying, and it's in this wilderness, y'all. We got a lot of doctrine flying around here with this internet going from the east to the west, y'all. Bad doctrine that's trying to get you put down in this wilderness. Y'all, while the wars are going on, don't be tripping off of Russia right now. It's just Matthew 24. Nation against nation. That's part of Russia.
Yep.
That's not the war of Gog and Magog. Unless whoever's ruling Magog's land joins up with them and they pull a power move. But you know what that means? We missed the 1,000-year millennium. Because that war don't happen to after the 1,000-year millennium.
Well, you see people posting this the end.
This ain't the end yet. We ain't even seen the Antichrist yet.
No.
All right, this is just the beginning. Yo, this is just nation against nation. It's nation against nation here. You got the abolitionists and the anti-vaxxers and vaxxers. You got Republicans and Democrats scrapping. It's like 1863. This is nation against nation right now. But if Gog and Magog is ready to attack Jerusalem, we missed the 1,000-year millennium. We missed the Antichrist and the second coming.
I mean, this is the peace.
Or this is just leading up to wars and rumors of wars. Nation shall rise against nation. There shall be famines. Them shelves getting empty, ain't they? Earthquakes all over. What you got, sis?
And the thing of it is, you can't even believe everything the news media says.
Absolutely.
Because they're in this one world government order system trying to infiltrate everybody. I call it television.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting folks on, look what they said, then spreading their gossip instead of spreading gospel, not gospel.
Right.
But the point is, you can't believe everything the news media tells us. When we see these things come to pass, don't look up, redemption draweth near.
Absolutely. It just said you in the world, but be not of it. You know, you will know if they trying to get something over your, pull the wool over your eyes, but you want to believe a lie. If they tell you there's a man that says he's Jesus Christ and live in Kinlock, and you want to believe that, that'll be a problem. And you at Aldi standing out front. Have you seen the Kinlock King? No, we ain't seen. See, so what we're talking about is, be ye not deceived. You can't be deceived no matter what they put on TV. Because you know what the devil ain't going to put on TV? He's not going to put the truth on there, but he's never going to tell you to break God's law on TV. Then he can't accuse you. He just needs you to not believe it. It says the Antichrist has not come to change the law. He said he come to make you think the laws and times have been changed. But we still got 4 seasons, don't we? Mm-hmm. And think about this, y'all, those that say the Sabbath day is just the daylight hours. Well, do y'all know it's 6 countries on planet Earth right now that have 23 hours of night? And then they'll have 23 hours of day. But do you know what they do not have? 24 hours of either one of the other. So they still complete a 24-hour day. What happens when they jump up to 16 hours of night? What you do about that? How you going to direct the Sabbath at this point? So y'all understand why he's talking about this rest? You have to account for them 6. It's Norway. It's somebody Google right now the 6 countries that have 23 hours a night. Google that real quick for me sometime. And this gonna throw your Sabbath day off if you're trying to lock 12 hours of the day in. You're gonna have to explain this. Go ahead, sis.
They also infiltrate man and try to people into play sports a little longer. Daylight savings time, which still shifts 1 hour of the Sabbath.
Right.
And the thing of it is, so many people have been infiltrated with it, then they change their clocks back and forth and all of this, and it's only a man thinking he has the right to even change a higher, most high God's sunset to sunset when he's in charge.
How will we get out of that, sis? How will we get out of that? Move to Phoenix. Move to Phoenix. The clock don't ever change. See, that's what I want everybody to understand. It's not what he think he can do, because there's always an out. All we have to do is move to Phoenix. They don't have no daylight saving time, right? The clock stay the same, don't it? So if everybody pile up to Phoenix, that'll eliminate that thought process. But what we're talking about is the deception up here to tell you don't trust what God say. He never said, no, the law is tampered with. Satan ain't never said that. There's not a scripture on this earth that Satan ever said God's law is tampered with. We say it. He tricked us to believe that that's the case. Mm-hmm. You know how? Because he wants you to accept a life that's less abundantly. Don't you want all your gifts now? Look, you can still ride on that jet ski. Just put some icy hot on it in this world. That ain't life more abundantly, is it? A good time and then you laid up for 3 weeks after a good time? Boy, you know what I'm talking about. How was that a good time? I don't care how much money you got. If your knee is hurting or your ankle hurting, money ain't going to solve that because the doctor done told you. Ain't nothing we can do but cut it off. And you thinking, do I really need that foot? Well, I'll let them cut off the left. At least I can still drive. And you contemplating stuff like that now. No. Don't want this abundance.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief.
See how we keep ending up with this word? Y'all, it has nothing to do with the trickery. The devil's saying, do you really believe God's law? It's like the TV show Lucifer. He don't never force them to break the law. He asks them one thing. He looked right in their eyes and asked them one thing. But what do you really want? I want to be a Cub Scout leader and wear shorts where the pockets stick out longer than the leg of the shorts. And you be like, and then he a devil will lead you like, oh, that's what you really want. But see, he getting into the consciousness. And that's what they're getting into the consciousness now with metaverse. Because they're saying you can be God and create your own world. You know that metaverse going to be filled with pedophiles with babies running through there with half a pamper on in their metaverse. And then they could come out of it. Women already saying they've been raped twice in metaverse. How? We're going to get to some of that today, y'all, because the seduction of Eve and the order of Melchizedek had to come to play, y'all. All of this was seduction of Satan, and he's seducing now. But the devil never, ever forces you to break the law, so we could never lie on the devil and say he made us sin. Because when a man corner a woman in the grocery store and see a ring on her finger, or that she has a married look, he say, are you married? She say, yes, I am. And then he asks, but are you happy? What the hell does that mean? I'm still married, so it's some happiness left. Right? But what does that mean, are you happy? It can only mean one thing.
Me and Mrs. Joe.
That's it. That's the only happiness he's asking. Are you missing that part while you keep standing over here at the cucumber aisle? Why? You've been here for an hour. I've been watching you.
Cucumber and eggplant.
Boy, look here. Here he is.
My new boyfriend.
Yeah, look here, bro. We're going to get into some Josephus going. Y'all going to understand what I'm saying perfectly. Let's read some more. Chapter 4, y'all. Let's get through this.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1.
What it say? What it say? Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Let us therefore fear that you can't enter into the rest. Well, your labor, you've been laboring with this. You know right now, like the first slave to get off the slave ship and knew we had a 400-year captivity, he knew I'm going to die in slavery. I don't see nowhere in the prophets and they say a man shall outlive slavery. Man, if I could just live 401 years. But you know you ain't. So you got to get your heart prepared to know the Messiah and ask his forgiveness, because you're going to die before them 400 years go up. And you got to have that confidence in your heart. Like Job did in Job 19:20. I know the worms have this master of this body. I know in this flesh, I'm going to see my Redeemer. He going to stand on the earth in the latter day. How long ago was them writings about Job? And why we read it at every funeral if we don't believe it? Let's read some more.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard.
See, it didn't profit them because it's missing the main ingredient. Go ahead.
For we which have believed do enter into rest.
How the only way you're going to enter into rest?
To believe.
To believe. If you hear somebody say, man, I just can't trust it, and they playing around with this word. Genesis to Revelations, y'all. Alpha and Omega. If you don't understand, or somebody saying, I don't understand this, you ain't went to seek the answer. You want to believe a lie. You want out. You may see an Egyptologist look like he prospering.
You're just looking for somebody to create some doubt.
Boy, look here,
So
you're
can,
begging for some doubt so you can get out.
Yeah. But it's funny, you just mentioned the metaverse. They're running a commercial on TV where the mailman bringing everybody their mail and it's open. And these people are pissed off. They're like, what you done read my? And they all like, they trying to get you to, they say your text messages and everything you're sending on your phone is encrypted. Is that what?
Yeah, that's where.
But then they're pumping, what's the one? WhatsApp. And they're saying it's encrypted. Everything you sent through them is encrypted. But then at the bottom it says by Meta.
Fine print.
Right. So
the fine print.
Right. So of course they say don't use that other stuff. Use this because this is going to be part of the metaverse, and we're encrypting everything that nobody else will be able to see what you're saying, but they'll see it.
Right. They lying to you. What they're trying to do is get your confidence up that you can go into this world and do what you like.
Right.
You like German Shepherds? Well, go to metaverse. And
howl
howl and bark all you want.
Yeah.
And then close out.
And nobody will know it.
And nobody will know but the cloud.
Right.
They just hit me yesterday to start with my business page. Meta now has a version of my business page for me to sign up, and I can start getting monetized to create content.
Right. You got to build a house. Boy, you living out in Creed Coat in metaverse. But see, it's just like a dream because you're going to wake up. It's just like in a dream, you may be, I won 6 slam dunk contests in my dreams.
Yeah.
And then I woke up. Let's read some more.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
For we which believe do enter into rest. As he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest.
As he has sworn in his what?
Wrath.
So we see vengeance is still the Lord. So he swears in his wrath. If you think the Messiah is concerned about today, like he is talking about that rest, where there's no more sin, there's no more sickness, you got to twist it. He's not saying don't overlook that, but that's a shadow of you to understand what it's like to enjoy. If you're retired, you shouldn't be working 20 hours of the day, even right now.
Right.
If you done retire from a job, you shouldn't be working 3 jobs right now. How you retire? And at Walmart, you ain't looked at none of them things. You just look at that receipt. Okay, going out the door. I got 3 TVs on the bottom. And all it said was 2 bags of potato chips on that list. You gone out of here. Go ahead, bro.
If they shall enter into my rest.
Yeah.
Although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise.
On the what day?
Seventh day on this wise. And Yahweh did rest the 7th day from all his work.
From the creation of making the world, he rested. That don't mean he stopped working through his work. It's just there's no more building. We don't need no another sun.
Right.
We don't need no another moon. They follow the commandment. We don't need no new seasons. Winter, spring, fall. They're going to roll just like they're commanded. The grass going to grow when it's supposed to. And like manner. So, we're not in a metaverse illusion, so to speak. This the real deal, and we're trying to get to that rest to stop the pains that we're having. Let's read some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached enter not in because of unbelief.
Because of what?
Unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today after so long a time, as it is said, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your heart.
Harden not your hearts. Don't make up an excuse why the Messiah won't come back. That's what you doing. Man, how we know for sure it wasn't no J in the alphabet. Wasn't no A, E, I, O, and U either. Say words without consonant and vowels then, Mr. Englishman. What are we talking about? You're trying to find a way. The unbelief is there. You want out.
Right.
But you can't get out because it's your life manual. You think you can you driving a Ford, you think you can throw the Ford manual out the window and somebody said, hey, I got Toyota manuals. It'll go good in your glove box. And then the check engine light come on P905 and P905 and this say, it's your trunk light. So the trunk light making my engine cut off? You got the wrong manual. You threw it out the window. Yo, this ain't hard. Let's read some more.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day.
So which Sabbath is he talking about if he's talking about another day? Y'all, please don't get us misunderstood that we're talking about don't obey this weekly Sabbath. We're not saying that at all. But that Sabbath's going to run like that with pain until the Messiah come back. Can you die on the Sabbath? Can a baby be born on the Sabbath?
That's work.
But still are both in danger of death on the Sabbath day. The baby and the mom. And then if you really caring about the Sabbath day, how you letting the doctor work?
Right.
How you done called the midwife? You got to be straight across the board. You got to tell her and threaten her, if you let that baby come out of her, I'm going to beat you to death, woman. Hold that baby till the Sabbath is over. You're working too hard. And she's really working. Ain't she sweating from her brow? Yeah. Hollering and screaming, and you better shut that noise up, woman. It's the Sabbath. It's supposed to be quiet time around here. Ain't by no means y'all telling y'all to do nothing illegal on this Sabbath day, but to keep it holy, and that means set apart. This when them other 6 days you're involved, the world may be involved, the world can't be involved during that time up here, during the Sabbath day. And it starts at night, y'all. You think it's just about daylight hours driving to the store? Is it about at night when the devil comes on the Sabbath day in the fourth watch of the night with women you ain't supposed to be with and men you ain't supposed to be with? In the beginning of the Sabbath while you sleep. What you think you're going to be thinking about when you wake up during the daylight hours? Sitting dazed out looking like this. What you looking at, Nuck?
Thinking about last night.
Yeah, thinking about, early this morning. That's going to make the Sabbath bad during the daylight hours, ain't it? That's why we just read that Psalm 16 to open. What did it say about the night sleep? That your night sleep in the watch be sweet and you don't get trouble. Satan come between 2 a.m. and 2:59, the fourth watch of the night. And he's going to test you to see if you're a believer. Anybody can say they're a believer now, can't we? We'll be talking noise, eating grapes. I love the Lord. I love the Lord. But let them come in the middle of the night. And your cover on the ceiling fan, you've been kicking in your sleep and kicked it up there. And sitting up, eyes bucked out when they click on the light. You scared to go back to sleep. What you got, sis?
I know you get up in the middle of the night, you got to go to the bathroom and stub your baby.
Oh, look here. Look here.
On your way to the toilet.
Look here. Look. If you had the number 2, you gonna do the number 1 right then.
A little bit.
Yeah, you know what? You got to try to ease that pain. You know who to call on. It's in your manual. It's going to automatically make you call. You cannot believe it.
People saying, Lord, Lord.
Yeah.
You want to be the one that come out of the same family of the enemy, and Yahweh is waiting. When you wake up, the devil don't sleep and live as our Lord and Savior.
Right.
When you get up, both of them are watching to see if you hit your toe. You going to say, God damn it.
Oh, boy, look here. Look.
Say, oh, my Lord.
Look. See what she said, GD? God damn it. What, the toe or the dresser? Which one you want damn? Look, yeah. Well, just give me a snap-on toe, just in case tomorrow the same thing happen. I'll pull it off before I go to sleep. What you got? Yeah. What you got, Dubai?
I can see you in the chat ask, what does it mean when the moon is out during the daytime?
That's what we're talking about. Did anybody Google the 6 countries on Earth that have 23 hours a day? Run them off for me. Run them off if somebody Google it right now. Because when you see the sun and the moon, like I say, during the seasons, one season gets longer than the other. One may lag behind, but you're seeing the moon because of horizon and different things. But know this, the moon doesn't have its own light. It gets its light from the sun. So if the sun is a summer month, it's waxing more bold. You may see remnants of the moon still, but they're going to be opposite ends of the globe. They ain't going to never see them right together. You still see them opposite ends of the globe. Because one is governing the 12 hours of the night and one is governing the 12 hours of the day. Sometime the day changes, they'll get closer. But they never will come together because it'll end the day. All you're going to have is an eclipse there if they come together, ain't it? So what you going to have then but night?
And if you notice, when you have an eclipse, you never see the moon until it reaches the sun.
Right. So, you know, y'all see white people ride and hang their rear end out the car and talking about they shooting the moon. So what do a brother do? What, he shooting the eclipse if he do it?
He's shooting a new moon.
Yes, sir. Boy, you sharp. You got a quick wit, bro. Go ahead. What you got over there, Mike?
If I go to bed, so I'm sick with the demons.
Yeah.
I think about my apartment.
You have to before you go to sleep. How you talk about ex-money? That must have been that movie I was watching late. The last thing on your mind have to be your evening prayer. Lord, don't let me take this same evil heart into the next day. Because if you don't, if you mad, the devil gonna be waiting. Look, I'll tell you what to do. Just go on to sleep. I'll be there. Don't worry about it.
To say something about the eclipse, because years ago, I had posted on Facebook that, you know, everybody freak out and get the glasses, and you're not even supposed to look directly in the sun by itself, but everybody spending money and drapes and have certain positions, looking like weirdos, looking at the eclipse, and I just said people love looking at darkness rather than the light.
Absolutely. Look, but this is what he say, be dismayed, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. The only time you need to be dismayed at them is when you see lightning flash from Jerusalem past Kansas City, then watch the light. Because it won't be the natural lights, because he said, I'm knocking them artificial. He said, I'm knocking the sun and the moon out and the stars. They're going to crash to earth just like a satellite. And then the light of the world going to come, and that's going to be Messiah. What you got over there, brother? Yes, sir. Same Joel, same way. Joel 3, yeah. All of them. Isaiah 60. All of them, 65 and 20, and there shall be no more moon. And we're talking about in New Jerusalem, in the city. For he's the light of it. Well, we're going to get caught up. What's my time?
Michael got.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Oh, I thought you was asking permission to use it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's name? He's naming The countries that have 23 hours a night or 23 hours a day. Go ahead. What did it say? First one is Norway.
The next one is Canada.
Canada. Who?
Canada.
Canada.
The top part of Canada.
Top part of Canada. Go. Okay. The tip of it was really cold.
The next one is Iceland.
Iceland.
Barrow, Alaska.
Barrow, Alaska.
Finland.
Finland. Sweden. And that's it, y'all. 23 hours a night. So how much Sabbath day can you get when it's 23 hours a night there? You see how it throws that off? It don't throw it off us because it is what it is. 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of the night. Because it's only 1 hour of sunlight there, it's still 12 hours and 12 days somewhere, but that sunlight, that 1 hour separates a complete day.
You wouldn't make it through that Sabbath, an hour-long Sabbath. You would never make it.
The moon is just not giving, or the sun is not giving the moon the light for those areas. Look, it say the sun rises from the east and west. What happens to the north and south? That's where you get the change at, because the north, if it gets so cold, you can't live there. Only certain people can live there. How you think about building an Eskimo hut? Them 8 houses, who want to sleep in that? Go ahead, sis.
Ratz's aunt went to Sweden, and when she went to Sweden, they told her that nighttime wouldn't come in until 10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock.
So everybody had those dark shades on because they had to go to work.
Right.
So she said she got a chance to actually witness. It was still light at 10 o'clock at night. And then around about 10:15, it started getting dark. About 10:30, and then it was dark.
Look, in that part of Alaska, they got army bases there that people say they be playing softball at 3 o'clock in the morning. It says bright then. And look, it's never really what you call night during most of those hours. The night part does its 12 hours where it's pitch black. The other is just, it's sitting on the horizon. That part is, so you never are completely dark for 20 hours. It's still only 12 hours you're completely dark. The other is running when the street lights come on for the rest of the time until the sun comes up for 1 hour. But it's still the separation of what's called twilight or evening between that 23 hour and that 24th hour before the sun rises again. Yo, this ain't hard. It's still going to be what it's going to be. Go ahead, bro.
The Bible says to be able to sleep, because it says that there will be not day and there will be not night. Isn't that the twilight that you're speaking of?
Well, yeah, that's called evening time or twilight. When you understand that in the beginning, the first 6 years, it was just before the sun and the moon was created, it was the atmosphere. It was just pure light and pure darkness. When you die, do you go to the sun, or what they tell you to go to what? Is it the sun, or is it what light you think it is when they say you die? Do anybody ever come back and say it was like the sun? I'm telling you, it was the sun. Hell, I know what the sun is. I know what it told me to go to, but they say it's this light. So bright, 10,000 times the sun in its strength. The sun is in its strength from 12 noon to 2 p.m. That's when we couldn't go out and play in the summertime. It's too hot out there. 10,000 times that. It's the light people say they see and they be trying to go to. They're not trying to go to the sun. So why we into sun worship, Egyptology, or moon worship, Muslimology? We wasting our time, ain't we? No, we got to seek the light down here, y'all. You can't wait till you die and try to go to the light. Got to get some light in you now. Let's read some more. Let's roll on through this chapter, y'all, so we can get into these next verses, these last hours. Go ahead.
Chapter 4, verse 9.
Yeah.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own work.
What has he ceased from?
From his own work,
Uh-huh.
as Yahweh did from his.
Uh-huh.
Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest.
Into what rest?
That rest.
See, let us labor for that. Yeah, you got to labor to keep yourself alive in this world, but this going to go away. It's going to be like Solomon says, all is vanity. All you're going to do is look at it. When you get so old, you just can't drive no more.
Right.
Your reflexes ain't the same. You want to step on the brake, but your reflexes ain't the same. You step on the brake when you're in the aisle 10 of Kmart. Then you slam on the brakes. Front door gone. Baskets turn over. Where we at, bro? Go ahead.
Verse 11 again. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
See, you're going to fall into unbelief if you don't seek that rest. If you keep seeking this Sabbath and you let it control you versus the Messiah saying the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Which one you want to remember? The one that we struggle with every day? The one that only can be completed if you have 6 days of work. You can't talk about the Sabbath and exclude the 6 days. That's how it starts off, don't it?
Yeah. That's part like the prerequisite of it, actually.
Unless you're in a position that where you're technically handicapped or a situation where you cannot work. But if work is out there and the seasons provide work, you can't be just sitting around saying my work is on YouTube. That work goes while you sleep. This work is eternal work. It don't get to get cut off.
You can monetize.
What you got, sis?
I just want to ask, isn't it, say like you said, the individual might not be able to go to work, it's your motive, your mindset about focusing on things for 6 days and resting on the Sabbath.
Well, what are you resting from? If you rest from the Sabbath, if you focus on the Bible 6 days and you rest from it, do you not think about the Bible on the seventh day?
No, I'm talking about not focusing on the Bible because, I mean, it's just like everyone say, I worship every day. It's
Right.
Like, ain't nothing wrong with worship.
No, it ain't.
But the thing of it is when he specifies, sanctifies, and sets aside a specific day where you absolutely focus on nothing but him and his goodness, his creation, but then a person, an individual that might be handicapped or whatever, that don't work, they can focus on the world, looking at the bad news, or not just that, but just doing the best things that they can around the house, and then on the Sabbath day, focus completely on how grateful I am that I'm still able to breathe and do the things.
Absolutely. That's the work. So because you're physically unable to do what Adam was cursed with, work from the sweat of your brow, you still have to work because, look, no handicapped people or anybody with schizophrenia, any of that, their soul does not have that illness. It's just flesh.
Right.
Their soul is perfect. It's why you always hear crazy people talk about the Lord, because that's their soul talking. The flesh is just ate up. It can't produce. It's called dumb and deaf. It's like when Satan locked down a situation where you can't hear, or he put his fingers in your ear. Or he grabbed hold of here where you can't speak. And then he would cast them demons off and your ear clear up. So you have to understand, handicap or a situation where you can't labor. He's talking about the main thing. First of all, it's about a family. You have to go to work. That's why 1 Timothy 5 say he's worse than an infidel that don't go to work. So there's a fine line of, they say, can you work Saturdays? What do you say at that point? You still got 1 Timothy 5 and you can't take care of your house. No, baby, I turned it down because they wanted me to work on the Sabbath. But it's going to be all right. You like, is it really going to be all right? Because you're not understanding what he's saying, because he takes us back to remember how it was in Egypt. That's what it keeps saying about that Sabbath, where you were bondmen. Do not work yourself to death, especially on the Sabbath day. If you have to work the Sabbath day, pray that you may get off and keep it holy. Don't do what you was doing them other days at work. And I asked the Lord, deliver me from working this day where I can focus in on you. But you begged the Lord to get you off on Saturday just to watch college hoop? The scripture's still over there. Yeah, in his face, like on Coming to America. You ain't picked this up. You think the Sabbath means no studying too.
Right.
So that's all we're talking about. So seek that other rest because you're not promised tomorrow and you can die in your sleep. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For the word of Yahweh is quick.
What is it?
Quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
That's the word is that sharp. Than any sword you can go find. The word is sharper than that because it cut both ways, coming and going.
That's right.
Words can cut you worse than any sword can. Because a person will tell you, man, you could have cut my head off before you said what you said about me. Go ahead. What else you say?
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joint and marrow, and is the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
What is it? The discerner of what?
The thoughts and intent of the heart.
You see how it says the Holy Spirit. The word is two-edged that it gets in here. It separates your soul from your spirit. In case you have an evil spirit on you, or you have the Holy Spirit on you, it still has to separate your soul from. It'll cut them down the middle like it cut Saul. It cut Saul off the Holy Spirit. And his soul searched out the witch of Endor because it couldn't grab hold to the Father no more. So it'll cut just like that. It'll cut you right off from righteousness. That's what the word do. Not word etymology. That's a guessing game. Yeah. What it say in the Hebrew? Man, I'm just not learning how to speak English. I'm from Mississippi. You just learned how to English words. And now you ask me about Hebrew? And you asking me in English? Let's read some more, bro.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight. But all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do.
Everything is open and naked. He don't care about you dressed up in somebody else's robe. He can see through that robe. You ain't fooling him. Let's read some more.
Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens,
right?
Yahushua, the son of Yahweh, let us hold fast our profession.
That belief in that. Go ahead.
For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin.
Yet without what?
Sin.
Y'all, this will end this Messiah talk. All they got to do is find the sin. It will end it, y'all, but they keep you playing in word etymology. Now, right there, it says begotten or begoot. See, in the Hebrew, begoot mean. But this just the bottom line right here. Either you believe or you don't. Right. Read some more. Finish that out.
Let us therefore come boldly into the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Y'all,
we need grace in the fourth watch of the night when the adversary come while you're alone. That's when he like to play. Y'all, the devil is supernatural. He ain't got no flesh. You keep looking for the white man as the devil. You think he gonna be, that's the one that's over you in your bed when you sleeping at night, kicking, can't get up, and you wake up, there's a white man in here somewhere. The devil been in here. Where you go, white man? I know you in here. Or is it a supernatural being that know your thoughts because you done whisper them in the dark? Y'all, let's get right to it, y'all. We got to get into some. 2 Corinthians 11, 1 through 4 real quick. And y'all, this is called the seduction because everything we're reading about this priesthood. And this last hour, y'all, we're going to get with Enoch because Enoch talked about the Messiah coming with 10,000 of his saints in the 48th chapter of the book 1 of Enoch. But we're going to get in book 2 of Enoch. And we're going to see a virgin birth and a high priest named Melchizedek, born to Noah's brother, Ner, named Melchizedek, on the other side of the flood. And they was talking about that rest that was coming. Because the world was finna be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, y'all. 2 Corinthians 11, 1 through 4.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1.
No, 2 Corinthians.
I'm sorry. That's 2 Corinthians. I'm in the right place.
It's hold on, I hear a few pages flipping. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1.
Yeah.
Would to Yahweh ye could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy.
What kind of jealousy?
Godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
What is a chaste virgin? Without spot or wrinkle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, your soul will be spotted and wrinkled, and you'll make sure you got them jeans heavily starched. The collar hitting just right.
Mm-hmm.
No spot or wrinkle in the clothes, but the soul is stained. It's got a spaghetti stain over here on the soul. It's where you threw up a White Castle when you ate too many of them on this part of your soul. But your clothes sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Read some more.
Verse 3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve.
As the serpent did what?
Beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. For if he that cometh preacheth another Yahushua, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which we have not received, or another gospel.
Or another what?
Gospel. Which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him.
You can hold right there. So what we want to just get to was the Christ saying Eve was seduced by the devil. I want to present y'all the chapter, but y'all can't have seduction coming into the marriage ceremony. Like I say, it's like you're waiting on the bride out there, and the butler is serving.
He's buttering. He's being a butler.
I tried to stay away from that, Zay. So y'all, let's get right to it. Genesis chapter 3, and I just want to read the seduction. And y'all, it's something very important in this, because the devil knew that a child was going to be born supernaturally without the help of mankind. So he had to get his mental and get into their mental. So when Adam and Eve got together, it would be under their instructions. So when they have a baby and it's conceived, it's like sacrificing to Molech. Especially if he's the director. He asked Eve, are you happy? Sometime when he come back from checking on them animals and stuff, where he at? He over there checking on them now. Don't you want a man always around that'll hug you and rub your feet and be there when you get home from work and wave to you when you go to work?
He used to do that.
Yeah. Well, look, it's probably good he stopped, because you the one gone. He at home. He giving you what you asked for. You want him always around. Well, he can't go to work if you want that.
That's right. Gotta go to work.
You're asking a whole lot for $2. Where we at, bro? Go ahead. Yeah. Where we at, bro? Genesis 3, we're going to get right to just the serpent beguiling her. Well, what she said, 3:16. So we understand, y'all, and then we're going to get right into this second book of Enoch, because there's a Melchizedek priest there. Satan tried to get at Christ, the Melchizedek priest. For 40 days and 40 nights, he was hammering on the Messiah and never tempted him with any evil or unbelief of his father. said it is written to the Messiah. The Messiah said back, yeah, it is also written. Let's read some more. Genesis 3:16, real quick, y'all, and then we're going to get right into 2 Enoch.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 16.
What it say?
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply the sorrow in thy conception.
Greatly multiply sorrow in thy conception. Y'all think about this. Sorrow in finding out that I'm pregnant. Who does that sorrow fall on but Israel more than any nation today? What you mean you pregnant? I thought you said you was fixed. Every other nation praying, leave from work. I got to go, supervisor. Mary's ovulating. I got to get out of here. Go on home. We at work like this. Who that man with them brown papers? He didn't say he's looking for Jimmy Johnson, did he? No, he ain't looking for Jimmy Johnson. He was looking for Jimmy Johnson yesterday. Sorrows in conception. Why is it a problem for the people that's supposed to be fruitful and multiply? Getting a woman, having a baby is a problem.
Sin.
Because it was done through the whispering. Are you happy? Let's read some more.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
Right?
And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
So the correction is now your desire, when you look it up, it means a strong appetite or sexual craving. That's what desire look up. When you look it up, either way you look it up, in Hebrew, Greek, is still the same thing. So that's why Paul is saying, I can't have y'all mind corrupted like that. The tree of life is there and you got doubt already. All he needs to do is put in doubt.
Yep.
Why you think he won't let you wear them robes like that? Why you got to be half dirt? He ain't. How you feel about being half dirt? Dirt I'm speaking of. Dirt. You half of that. Yeah. I should be gods like him, right? Yes, you should be gods just like us. Or you're going to always be dirty. Yeah, right there.
He's actually higher than the angels. The reason why we're higher than the angels is because we have free will, while the angels don't have free will.
Well, they have free will. Satan had free will, but what we're talking about is they have free will. They just had an estate. Their work was to do this. They just went outside their work. Like the priest was supposed to pick up the Ark of the Covenant. That was their job. When the Ark moved, they had to pick it up. Nobody else. But Eleazar had men put it on the back of ox cart. Picked up wrong. Then you got it behind ox. So ox doo-doo while they walk. And you got the Ark of the Covenant with the smell of dung in front of it. That's against the rules. Just like angels, they say they just left their first estate. You have a job to do. You are a watcher. You watch the children of men. You warn them when trouble is on the way. That's your deal. But they looked at women and, they just got beside themselves.
Hold up.
Yeah. They say some happiness need to be down on the earth.
The thing of it is, the reason why angels wonder who we are, that our Most High is so mindful of us. We were created in His image. And He came in the form of humanity and died for us. And the angels are our messengers.
Well, they're created in His image too. That's why He said, let us make man. That's the Godhead. They're part of the Godhead. Satan was part of the Godhead.
He made man in His image. He didn't make angels.
Well, angels are in His image because we compare angels to what? And I saw an angel and he looked like a man. Angels come to us. He come as a man. I'm the captain of the host of the army of the Lord. They look just like us.
But did our Lord and Savior die for the angels?
For the angels?
Yeah, He died for
Well, the angels, yes, he died for the righteousness of the world, but this situation is different from the situation with the angels. They died too. They had the same type of death. Satan and the 1/3 got kicked out of heaven. So they had the same deal. They were supposed to be, he was a high priest, Satan was. When you read Ezekiel 28:12, he was a priest. So priest up in heaven, priest on earth. But both priests have the same laws. This is just a celestial priest. And we were earthly priests. The celestial priests were supposed to watch out for the earthly priests because they're supernatural. They can't die a physical death. That's the only difference. They can die a spiritual death. So they were supposed to watch us who could die fleshly, and then that death pass on to our children. Well, angels don't have children. So their punishment is for them alone. See, our punishment go for generations. I'm going to get you, but that's not good enough. I need to get the next 3 generations too. And then y'all understand, but angels don't have children, except they leave their estate and have a child by a human being. So that's what it means. They left their estate to get in on having children. That was the only thing they couldn't do was have children. Well, Christ never had any children. Paul never had any children. But he said we are his children. Spiritually, they were the sons of God in heaven. So we look like them. They look like us. Every description, when an angel comes, it say a man came to me and told me these things. They didn't say he don't look like us. And they were in the image of God.
That's why he said, careful how you treat the stranger unaware.
Be an angel. So he looked like us then, right? See how the scripture answers it? But look, what it did is brought that scripture back to mind. You're like, there it is right there. There it is. Okay, I'm back on it now. You see what I'm saying?
When you looking for the truth,
It's going to be there. It's not far away. You call it Hebrews because it came to mind. That if a stranger come to your door, you ain't going to say, use an angel. I can tell you don't look like us. No, you won't say that. You be like, ooh, you look like Uncle Junior. Like Raphael came to Tobit in the book of Tobit. And he said, who your people? He said, I'm Azariah. He said, who your people? I know your peoples.
because I met this gentleman here in a restaurant.
Mike Ayed?
Huh?
Mike? Big Mike?
Right here.
Yeah.
And we were in the same restaurant, and I was telling people, make sure their relationship was right, because we in the end times, and he came and opened up, showed me in his
Script? Yeah.
script, it was witnessing to me, and I was witnessing. I said, where you belong?
Look, sheep was hearing the voice. Y'all heard, both y'all heard, you like, look, we go to the same school of thought. Let's read some more, y'all. Because I got to get into this, y'all, while we got 1 good hour. Where we at?
You want to keep going with this?
Where you at? You finished that?
I read 16.
That's all I wanted to do was get the trouble of Eve. Yeah, now we getting into 7. You want to read 17? What Adam got punished? Oh, okay, yeah. So we're going to get out of that, y'all. All I want y'all to do is see the seduction that Paul talked about in 2 Corinthians. That was the seduction. Let's get right into, y'all, 2nd Enoch. Y'all Google it best y'all can. The 2nd book of Enoch. Shalom, Mark Wayne. The 2nd book of Enoch, chapter... Y'all read all the 70 for time's sake. It's talking about the days of Noah right before the flood. And they're giving day-to-day accounts leading up into it. Y'all going to get some good meat. Y'all thought y'all was reading good in Genesis. Wait till y'all get in this 7th chapter. We're going to pick it up in the 71st chapter of this, because it's going to line up just like Matthew 1 with the Messiah being born after a certain order.
You want 70 or 71?
They read all 70. We're going to jump right into 71.
Okay.
If y'all able to pull it up, 2nd book of Enoch, chapter 71. Y'all read chapter 70 on your own time. We just cut short because I want to get into this book of Josephus and talk about a seduction that happened that they used sleight of hand. Turn off the lights.
Light a candle.
Yeah. How y'all looking? How you looking, Tubai? You able to put it up on the screen? Let them see it? Okay. For all y'all don't have it, Tubai putting it up on the screen, so if y'all Got y'all smartphones out. Use that smartphone, y'all. Turn off the dummy section and turn on the smartphone. Look, we can find everything else, can't we? Shalom, sis. Our brother doing it good? Okay.
All right, family, we're going to be in the book of 2nd Enoch. I'm in the Apocrypha, not the Apocrypha, in the Pseudepigrapha. But I think you got it on the screen, bro. No, just saying, did you have it on the screen? Are you good?
Yeah, I was waiting on you. As soon as you started reading, I was going to put it up there.
All right, chapter 71 about Ner's wife.
See, Ner was Noah's brother. And this is right before the flood. Noah's brother. Let's read some up.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
And behold, the wife of Ner, Sathanam.
What's her name?
Sathanam. Being sterile and never having given birth to a child by Ner.
So she was barren her whole life. This Ner, Noah's brother's wife. And she into old age. Never had a child. Never ever conceived. Go ahead.
And Sathanam was in the time of old age. And in the day of death.
And in the day of death, she really old, y'all. She finna check out. Feet getting cold. Go ahead.
And she conceived in her womb.
What she do?
Conceived in her womb.
Past menopause?
Near death.
She passed olapause. She near death. Where we at?
And she conceived in her womb.
And what she do?
Conceived in her womb. But Ner, the priest, had not slept with her.
So there's a temple before the flood, huh? A temple of the Most High? Who's the high priest? What's the order? It's only been 2 on earth ever. Aaron or Melchizedek, what order we under right here if he a priest? Let's read some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And Sathanam came to Ner, her husband, and behold, she was pregnant.
Sound familiar with Mary? Go ahead.
And at the time for giving birth. And Ner saw her, and he became very ashamed about her. And he said to her, what is this that you have done, O wife? And why have you disgraced me in front of the face of all the people? And now, depart from me. Go where you conceived and disgraced of your womb.
He like, go who got you pregnant. Go back to his house. Get the hell out of here. What you got? Yeah. But it says she hid herself and he had left, went off. He doing priestly duties. He come back, plus she hid herself, wearing big clothes. What's the least thought on your mind? You think you pregnant? Wait a minute. Even if you are in the house and she say she pregnant and both of y'all pass 100, it's still gonna raise questions. You know, my hips ain't swiveled like that in 100 years to produce offspring.
Right.
Go away from here, woman.
But he said he didn't lay with her.
Right.
If I look up that second book of Enoch, what's that, chapter 1, verse 7?
We're in chapter 71.
71.
2nd Enoch, chapter 71. What verse we in now?
I'm going to start at the beginning of 6 again.
Verse 6, he going to start at the beginning again of 2nd Enoch.
71.
71, verse 6. Y'all look, y'all see the rebroadcast code. Too bad I got the book up for all those y'all following along. But use them smartphones. Tell them where. Okay. Okay, that's good. But what's that page? Did you put the just put the link out there for everybody to get? That'll work better so that all they have to do is click on that link and they can read with us. Y'all, he gonna put the link in the live stream. Y'all, Enoch just talked about in the book of Jude. He's talked about all through Genesis. He got his own writings. Moses took all of them and combined them together. But the books are broke down in books. And he explained the luminaries. He explained supernatural things. He explained things that the naked eye can't see but feel. Like when your dog just start growling at the closet. You better shut up. I'm trying to watch Hollywood Housewives. Shut up. No, you tell them, go get it. Go get it. And snatch the closet. Get it. See, because they could sense demons and different things. Dogs can't. They'll let you know that's a sign to start praying. He ain't just called man's best friend because he wag his tail. Let's read some more.
The book of 2nd Enoch, chapter 71 and verse 6.
Yeah.
And Ner saw her, and he became very ashamed about her. And he said to her, what is this that you have done, O wife? And why have you disgraced me in front of the face of all the people? And now depart from me. Go where you conceive the disgrace of your woman.
And y'all know it was finer language than that. Go ahead.
So that I might not defile my hand on account of you.
See, that he might not defile his hand. He say, woman, you better get the hell out of here. What you mean you pregnant? You too old to be pregnant. All of a sudden, let me get out of here. Let me get the hell out of here.
Right.
Go ahead.
And sin in front of the face of the Lord. And Satan answered Ner, her husband, saying, O my Lord, behold, it is the time of my old age, and there was not in me any order of youth.
Any order of what?
Of youth. And I do not know how the indecency of my womb has been conceived.
Look, she said there's no order in my youth, in my womb. That means everything that happens to a young woman from the time her flower starts up until her flower starts. She said none of that activity is taking place with me. I ain't had I ain't had my personal solar flares. None of that. All that way past that. Nor at the beginning of my youth when I was perky in the chest. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And Ner did not believe her.
What did Ner do?
Did not believe
Shalom
her.
says.
Shalom says. And for the second time Ner said to her, depart from me, or else I might assault you.
You hear what the man said? Look, he mad.
Yeah.
You mad. Get. Go ahead.
And commit a sin in front of the face of the Most High. And it came to pass, when Ner had spoken to his wife, that Satan fell down at Ner's feet and died.
What'd she do?
She died. Ner was extremely distressed.
Now he's scared to death because he's been breathing threatenings.
He caught
so he think, I was going to hit you with this. You know, but now my words were so sharp that they took your life. Y'all see how the word cuts like a two-edged sword, but it's just letting you know the tongue is a cursed thing, it curse like that, but that had nothing to do with why she fell dead. Go ahead.
And he said in his heart, could this have happened because of my word?
What'd he say?
Could this have happened because of my word? And now, merciful is the eternal Lord, because my hand was not upon her. And an archangel Gabriel appeared to Ner.
Who appeared?
Archangel Gabriel appeared to Ner.
Who appeared to Mary? Okay, let's keep reading.
And said to him, do not think that your wife Sophonim has died because of your error, but this child which is to be born of her is a righteous fruit, and one whom I shall receive into paradise.
Where are you going to take it to?
To paradise.
He said, I'm coming to get this baby. This baby got to go back to paradise. Go ahead.
So that you will not be the father of a gift of Yah.
So that you will not be what?
The father of a gift of Yah.
So this a virgin birth without man's seed before the flood. What happened with Messiah ain't nothing new. Keep reading. We're going to see who this individual is.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And Ner hurried And he shut the door of his house. And he went to Noah, his brother, and he reported to him everything that had happened in connection with his wife. And Noah hurried to the room of his brother, and the appearance of his brother's wife was in death of her and her womb. Verse 14. Oh, okay, I'm trying to see. It is the sentences are split up in the pseudepigraphy.
Yeah, I just caught on to that too. That's why I said mine wouldn't.
Well, what verse you in?
I'm in 13, but it stopped mid-sentence and started 14 in the middle of the sentence. That's crazy, but let's see. And the appearance of his brother's wife was in death, and her womb was at the time of giving birth.
So look, her body dead, but her womb alive.
Giving birth.
Giving birth.
Wow.
Don't think it could happen. Scott Peterson, that killed his wife, had the baby underwater. The baby died. The baby was found full term, born. She was pregnant when he killed her and tied cinder blocks to her and threw her in the water. But the baby was born, named Connor. That's why he got charged with 2 counts of murder. The baby they found first. Let's read some more.
The 14.
Yeah.
And Noah said to Ner, don't let yourself be sorrowful, Ner, my brother, for the Most High today has covered up our scandal, in that nobody from the people knows this. And now let us go quickly and let us bury her, and the Most High will cover. Let me see. And the Most High will cover up the scandal of our shame. And they placed Sathanim on the bed, and they wrapped her around with black garments and shut the door. And they dug a grave in secret. And when they had gone out toward the sepulchre, a child came out of the dead Sathanim.
What came out?
A child came out from the dead Sathanim. And he sat on the bed. And Noah and Ner came in to bury Sathanim. And they saw the child sitting beside the corpse.
Now, what would you do at that point?
Man.
I'm talking about, look, it ain't a pair of sandals made that could have stayed on your feet. Boy, you was going to run the soles off of them sandals. A child just sitting there right next to the body like this.
Newborn.
Chilling. Go ahead.
And having his clothing on him. And Noah and Ner were very terrified.
See, now, don't get misunderstood by having his clothing on him, meaning that the color of his flesh was there.
Okay.
Remember, Job talked about it in Job 3rd chapter. He said, let me die, I believe it's Job 2. Before I suffer all this pain, I had rather died prematurely when the flesh had not got its color. You know, when the baby, you come out, you can tell how dark they're going to be by the tip of their ear.
Right.
The baby was the color, the whole body was the color of the tip of their ear already. It had its clothing on, what it's going to look like. Let's read some more.
And Noah and Ner were very terrified. Because the child was fully developed physically.
So the child was fully developed physically, had baby teeth already when it was born. Physically, it don't mean he was just what I'm talking about, physically developed. It was past breast milk already.
Right.
So
he's sitting up on the bed.
Absolutely. Right. So it's trying to give you what Isaiah was saying. When he's but a babe, he's going to know how to choose milk and honey. So it's not strange what the prophets are saying and teaching. It happened before the flood. Let's read some more.
And he spoke with his lips.
What'd he do?
He spoke with his lips.
I'm hungry. Y'all think about that, a newborn. When Noah, or if it had been me and you, by the time I caught up with you, I'd have told you, and then it started talking, and then we'd have took off running again. Go ahead, bro.
And he spoke with his lips. And he blessed the Lord. And Noah and Ner looked at him closely, saying, this is from the Most High, my brother. And behold, the badge of priesthood was on his chest.
What was on his chest?
The badge of priesthood was on his chest. And it was glorious in appearance.
It was glorious in appearance, y'all, when the badge of priesthood on it. It's like children today can see the badge of priesthood on an individual because they can see aura. That's why you're not supposed to mess with a child, because they're in innocence. They can see if innocence on you or if it's trouble. If every time you go around a baby and that baby start hollering like Bela Lugosi in there, you either gonna have to brush your teeth or do something else, or that baby seeing a bad aura. Let's read some more. What does it say?
Verse 20.
Yeah.
And Noah said to Ner, behold, Yah is renewing the continuation of the blood of the priesthood after us. And Noah and Ner hurried. And
go ahead, finish that out.
And Noah and Ner hurried, and they washed the child, and they dressed him in the garments of priesthood.
What they do, they washed him first, didn't they? Mm-hmm. So when it says he had his covering on, you know, they wasn't washing. He didn't have no clothes on then.
Right.
They washed the body. It had his color, but it still had placenta and all the stuff on it. So they washed him, and then what they put him on?
And they dressed him in the garments of priesthood.
Uh-huh.
And they gave him the holy bread, and he ate it.
So now we got a priest, and they giving him the bread.
Right.
The bread we break bread with. Go ahead.
And they called his name Melchizedek.
Uh-huh. And those they didn't get a baby no wine, no. That'd have been a little trouble. Go ahead.
And Noah and Ner lifted up the body of Sathan, and divested her of the black garments. And they washed her body, and they clothed her in bright garments. And they, let me see. They're killing me with this. And they washed her body, and they clothed her in bright, choice garments.
Uh-huh.
And they built a grave for her. And Noah and Ner and Melchizedek came.
And who came? Who was it?
Melchizedek came, and they buried her publicly. And Noah said to his brother Ner, look after this child until the time in secret.
So who was called Melchizedek? Because it was only 3 of them that buried. So who was called what? And then he said, look out for this who? Child. So the child was right there too then, wasn't it?
Right.
So who was called Melchizedek?
That child.
Let's read some more.
Until the time in secret, because people have become treacherous in all the earth. And in some way, when they see him, they will put him to death. And Noah went away to his own place. Okay. That's 23. And behold, all lawlessness became abundant over all the earth in the days of Ner. And Ner began to worry excessively about the child, saying, what will I do with him? And stretching out his hand toward heaven, Ner called out to the Most High, saying, how miserable it is for me, eternal Lord, that all lawlessness has begun to become abundant over the earth in my days. And I realize how much nearer the end is. And now, Master, what is the vision about this child? And what is his destiny? Or what will I do for him?
So you see, y'all, we always ask questions. When the Lord come to you, you just didn't leave it at that, or just say, I got a word from the Lord and tell somebody. You have to find out what he's telling you, or why this event is happening on earth. Or you just don't want to know. You don't care to know. But it could be about your life end. Go ahead, bro.
So that he too will not be joined with us in this destruction. And the Most High heeded Ner, and appeared to him in a night vision. And he said to him, behold already, Ner, the great lawlessness which has come about on the earth, so that I will not suffer it anymore, and I will not tolerate it anymore. Behold, I plan now to send down a great destruction onto the earth. But concerning the child, don't be anxious. Don't be anxious, Ner, because in a short while, I shall send my archangel Gabriel, and he will take the child and put him in the paradise of Eden.
Where you gonna put him?
In the paradise of Eden.
Notice that place, paradise. Paul speak of it in 2 Corinthians 13. I know a man that went to paradise. Speaking of himself, The Testament of Levi talk about the third level of heaven, paradise. Luke 16 talk about the third level of heaven, paradise. The thief on the cross was going to be taken where? Paradise. Know this day is the holding spot for the righteous. If you're not worthy to be brought, your life, the books open on you, you will be brought to that space if you found worthy. Judgment day still has to happen for you, but you be, come on in, well done. Got to tell you your pitfalls and hurdles you got over. It ain't just don't worry about judgment day for you. You come on there. Ain't no such scripture. Everybody, every knee gonna bow like it said on judgment day. So paradise is the holding spot. On the side of paradise between a great river is torments. It's not the lake of fire. It's torments. It's where the souls that are so wicked, like Jeffrey Dahmer, like Judas Iscariot, they went to perdition. You understand? That's called perdition. That's where you go immediately. You so wicked, you go there. John Wayne Gacy, the killer of children, immediately go to perdition. So you go from perdition to the lake of fire. So the man in Luke 16 was not in hellfire because judgment hadn't happened yet. He was in torments. Just go tell my brothers so they don't come to this place. Well, you ain't seen the place yet. That's what we're saying. Perdition is torture. It's the place. The Antichrist comes from perdition. That's not the lake of fire. When you go to the lake of fire, you through. Perdition is a spiritual grave for the ungodly. Paradise is the spiritual grave for the righteous found worthy. Revelation 6 and 9. They're going to get white palms in their hand. Read Revelation 6 and 9. That's for those individuals. This is the most wicked group of individuals that ever lived on planet Earth. They're removed from Earth and set down in this realm over here called perdition. Judas Iscariot, it say he immediately, his soul was taken to perdition. Nero Caesar's soul was taken to perdition because he killed his mama because she said the word Christian. What you got, bro?
Casey feels the chat ass. So what place is Shiloh?
Shiloh is just Shiloh. Shiloh is the Messiah. You mean Sheol?
Yeah, he's a Sheol.
Sheol is the grave. Sheol could be the water, because it said the water gonna give up his people. Look, death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. Hell is the grave, but you'll see the Messiah say, "Don't fear who can destroy body in hell, just put you right in grave. Fear him who can destroy you in hell fire." There's a difference. You'll go to the grave with that, but I'm gonna send you to an eternal grave.
Right.
Hell fire. I'm going to take the grave and throw it in fire so it can be no more death over here. There's a difference between hell and hell fire. When you say go to hell, you're just saying, well, one day that's probably going to be true unless the Messiah come back, because we're going to die and go to hell. Hell is the grave. The lake of fire is torments mentioned in Isaiah 30th chapter, verse 31. It say it's wide and it's large, and the breath of the Most High doth kindle it. He blow on it to keep it burning. His breath does kindle it. Keep them coals glowing. You know how it be glowing on that, just waiting for the meat.
I just want to ask a question. Why is so much idle words when people say, what in the hell and all of this stuff?
Well, that's what we're talking about. Don't know the manuscript. So they're saying what's called idle words, or they're words of an idol. You know, because we don't have power to tell nobody to go to hell. You can cast, like Nerjus thought, he said his words, he thought told his wife to go to hell. That's what he was thinking about.
When people say, what in the hell?
What in the hell? Just misunderstood, just language you hear on the street, just smooth talk, language talk, all of the gutter talk. You know, we done been around. We hear the gutter talk. People don't know. Look, when a person say, God damn me, what do you think they truly saying? I mean, do you think if they knew what they were saying, they would tell God to damn them? To send them to perdition is what you saying. GD me, man, nigga was shaw. I had on them gators and I was walking pigeon toe. GD me, man, I was...
I had an old friend over last week. He probably said GD me 10 times.
Did he, boy? And you be like, I want to tell it, but man, it's just, it's going to be longer than this.
So I just let him go.
Go ahead. See, it's like two songs, y'all. It's like two songs. I'm going to say this, y'all. We got to move on. It's like two songs. And like the youngsters say, well, you old heads had songs talking about doing wrong. Yeah, we had classic songs, but you listen to them just like one is saying, I'm sorry, I got caught. Me and Mrs. Jones, the lyrics, we both know that it's what? Wrong. How do we know that? Because you're Mrs. Jones and I'm Mr. Jackson. And we got a thing going on, but we both know that it's what? The other song, that don't care, that moved into lasciviousness. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be what? Right. So I want to keep loving you wrong. Are you happy? Y'all get it? Yeah. Okay, let's move on. What you got back there, bro?
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33 and 34.
What'd it say?
Be not deceived, evil communication corrupts good men. Awake to righteousness and sin not, for some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame.
You're right, some have not the knowledge of God, so they don't know technically that the idle words that they're saying, they're still going to be brought up in judgment, but they didn't have a clue if it weren't for grace, and he took you on your word. GD me, man, I put my life on that, man. If he took you for your word, he know you don't know what you're talking about. You're talking just the ways of the street. So a lot of us just pick up words, you know, like you pick them up from everybody, slang words. We have to ask these youngsters what that means. They have to ask us sometime. If you say, look, I ain't going to chew my cabbage twice. And they like, what the hell that mean? I ain't going to tell you no more. I told you once. Do it right or do it twice. Let's read some more. Let's get back into this, y'all. We got about 20 minutes.
The book of 2 Enoch, chapter 71 and verse 30. No, yeah. Verse 29.
What's happening, bro? What's happening now?
Are you in A? You got to make sure you go to A and don't go to J.
You in A, right?
That's how I got caught.
It's like two sides, y'all.
A and J. And when you flip page, you got to go to A.
You got to stay on. Look, y'all, it's reading in two languages. It's reading in two languages. You'll see one for J. I don't know what that language is written in, and then it's got one on A. When you flip them pages, just stay on the A side if y'all on the same link that two by on. You go, Sister D? You go? Okay, be careful out there, sis.
The book of 2 Enoch.
Look, let me know. You holler at me. You know what we talked about for Purim. Okay, let me know. Okay. Go ahead.
Chapter 71 and verse 29.
What it say?
And he will not perish along with those who must perish. And as I have revealed it, and Melchizedek will be my priest to all priests.
See, Melchizedek will be what?
My priest to all priests. And I will sanctify him, and I will change him into a great people who will sanctify me. And Ner arose from his sleep and blessed the Most High who had appeared to him, saying, Blessed be the Lord, the Elohim of my fathers, who has not condemned my priesthood and the priesthood of my fathers, because by his word he was created a great priest in the womb of Saphan, my wife.
He was created a great priest in a womb that wasn't supposed to have a child.
Right.
A supernatural birth put there by the Most High, because he sent the angel. He said, I can't have men saying the gift of God is by a man. Because we'll get like that, like my son can't do no wrong, and you raise him up like Caesar, boy, Jesus. Don't y'all know the picture of white Jesus? That's his son. He lifted him up like the wisdom of Solomon say. He'll make an image of his son and worship the image of his son. Let's read some more, finish that out.
For I have no descendants. So let this child take the place of my descendants and become as my own son. And you will count him in the number of your servants. With Sanfi and Ankh and Rusi and Milam and Saruk and Arusan and Nael and Enoch and Methusael.
See, and what we're running is the lineage all the way back to Adam. And when he say the priesthood of my father, that means Adam was a priest. Adam is the father of these individuals, right? So Adam was a priest, right? Aaron or Melchizedek. Let's read some more.
And your servant Ner. And Melchizedek will be the head of the priest in another generation.
See, Melchizedek will be the head of the priest in another generation. Go ahead, what else it say?
Verse 37.
Yeah.
For I know indeed that this race will end in confusion, and everyone will perish, except that Noah, my brother, will be preserved in that generation for procreation.
For what?
For procreation.
Did he have 10 wives or just going to be one for procreation?
Just one.
Go ahead. Is that finished out?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yo.
Wait a minute.
May have just a little bit more.
And from his tribe there will arise numerous people, and Melchizedek will become the head of priests, reigning over a royal people who serve you, O Lord.
See, reigning over a royal people. Who is the royal people?
Israel.
And who's the priest? Melchizedek.
Yep.
But it's going to be a virgin birth just like this. He's going to give his gift to the world before the destruction. Wow. Y'all, this ain't hard. It ain't hard at all, y'all. It's just that we just got to stay on the path and don't change from it. Don't wander off. Don't be in glowworm mode. What else we got? Is that it for that?
Yeah, that's it.
Let's get right to Josephus. Go ahead. But we're going to Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, book 18, verse 3 and 4. And the reason we're going there, then I'm answering, is because Satan did to this woman what he did to Eve in the garden. And we're going to see the difference in a supernatural virgin birth versus Satan, what he did to Eve. He did it to this woman with his priests. So when you read the book of Enoch, in the regular book of Enoch, Mike, you gone? Shalom. So when you read the book of Enoch about where it says Satan sent his boy and he was the one that seduced Eve, it's still his boy. But it was like Cuddy on Dead President. Yeah, my boy Cuddy had your woman while you was in the army. That's Satan's Cuddy. Gamaliel. That's who he whispered to, I'm going to send my boy to you. And he taught Eve all of that wickedness on foul knowledge. What book? My script? Oh, what are you talking about? You talking about what he read? Yeah, that's the book they reading out of. You got it right there. Yeah, that's it.
It's volume 1.
Yeah. Where we at, y'all? Because we ain't got but 15 minutes. Y'all want to get into that. Who had another question, though? Somebody had a question. Go ahead.
So who is Melchizedek in this lesson? Is it Yahshua? I'm confused. I guess you just can't read.
Right. Well, look at what we're talking about. Read the language. He said the child will go to paradise. The two angels that Messiah, he went to paradise. It's New Jerusalem, y'all, just up where there. We can't go there. If you do go there, you're going to be still asleep. You will be resting. You ain't walking around right now. Ain't none of the saints up there. That's why I say read Revelation 6 and 9. And you're seeing the souls of the altar were put back to sleep. It's not time for them, but they got their seal. They got their clothing of Melchizedek. White robes was put on them. And they were put back to sleep. Just like 2nd Ezra we read, 2nd Ezra 3, it gets into that heavy. 2nd Ezra 7 gets into when it said Christ, and they asked, who is this with the crown on his head just passing out crown? They say, that's Christ, the Son of God. And they say they're putting palms in the saint's hand. That lets you know you have made salvation. They put you on a white robe and give you the priesthood in your hand.
You see, Hamashiach is the priesthood of Melchizedek, but the son of the son of Sinaphim is Melchizedek the person.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Y'all understand?
Maybe that helped, with what
because look, he went there, but he's still a gift of God, but he's not the gift of God.
Exactly.
The gift of God have to meet what the scriptures say. Now, the only reason she wouldn't be a virgin that has never known man eliminates the prophecy of Isaiah, because she knew her husband at a time. She just was way past where they was into knowing anymore.
Exactly.
But she was still married. So like Joseph's situation was like manna, but the prophecy was on this wise, that it's going to be a young virgin that has never known man. Even Isaiah's wife knew man. And they call, so there may be different types of virgins. When you get menopause, that's technically, you're going back into adult virginhood. But you still had knowing with a man. Mary never knew a man, period. Until after she brought forth her first son. But we're going to get Matthew 1:18 to clear that up. What you got over there, Theo?
So what was the order of Melchizedek called before Melchizedek?
Melchizedek. The father is Melchizedek. He's the one without father and without mother. Right. Regardless, this individual still had a father, and he had an earthly mother, because he came out of who? So the father's father and mother can't be traced. That's the original Melchizedek. And then he has an order. I'm the original Melchizedek, and under my order, I got my high priest, my son that sits at the right hand of me under my order. He's my vice president.
Right.
Call him Melchizedek? If they knew, Adam them knew they were Melchizedek. They knew the priesthood. That's why you can see Ner and them, they already had the priesthood robes and clothes. That's how they dressed it. They dressed him because they seen the badge in his chest. They're like, this the child, this Melchizedek. And they put the clothes on him. They knew who he was. Because Gabriel came to him and told him, this Melchizedek. But it says the final Melchizedek that will come after all the generations, all these other Melchizedeks come up under him. From Adam to Jacob coming out of Egypt. All of them was Melchizedek priest. Jacob was a Melchizedek priest because he never went to Mount Sinai to get switched to Aaron. He died in Egypt. Still a Melchizedek high priest. So all of them, but this individual was like Shem getting off the ark. Shem was a high priest, was a priest of Melchizedek. Abraham was a priest of Melchizedek, but he met Shem. That Melchizedek, the one and only high priest, because it's only one at a time. And then you have the priests underneath them that follow the order of Melchizedek, and they got one high priest that go to the Father back and forth. So that individual was a mirror image of how Christ would be born, but the only thing that separates the two is that this woman had known man before. The scriptures say, having neither known man, ever, under that circumstance. Like, man, when we get in Matthew 1:18, you're going to see the difference. But I need to hurry up and get, while we got 13 minutes to get through this Josephus, because he's going to break down what Satan tried to do and what Paul was talking about in 2 Corinthians 11, 1 through 4. He's going to break that down, how Satan got that done, and he got it done in this temple. And y'all know this took place during the time of Christ's birth, around that time. Well, after birth, because he said if it's lawful to call him a man, the chapter before. But the same thing was running around, and we had to pick between the two, which one it was. Do you know they say Alexander the Greek was born of a supernatural birth? Like that. Did y'all know that? They say, yeah, he had a God for father. But it's only hearsay. Because Satan play hearsay games. He can't do it, so he have the individual do it, or there's trickery that come into play. Turn off the lights and hurry up and run over there and get it and then disappear. Turn the lights back on. She just sitting there wet and don't know why. But y'all, when we get into this, y'all gonna understand it perfectly. Let's get into it, y'all. Where you at? We're in the book of Josephus. Antiquity of the Jews. Book 18, verse 3 and 4. That's all we're going to hit, y'all. We're going to hit that Matthew 1:18, that Ecclesiastes, we're going to close out.
Verse 3.
But y'all have to understand Melchizedek from the beginning, all the way from Adam being made a king and priest. He controlled all of planet Earth. He was the king and priest of planet Earth. He did the sacrifices. Where we at?
Verse 3.
Where you at?
Where you just said.
Josephus. Antiquity of the Jews.
Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 18, verse 3.
Right.
Now there was about this time Yahushua, a wise man.
What was he?
A wise man. If it be lawful to call him a man.
If it be lawful to do what?
Call him a man.
See, he said this was a wise man. They called back in this time. If it be lawful to call him a man. Is it against the law? Am I violating Hebrews 7:16, where he's born after not a carnal commandment, but a commandment of endless life? Is it wise to call him a man, what he was doing? Let's read some more.
For he was a doer of wonderful work.
What was he?
A doer of wonderful work.
Uh-huh.
A teacher of such men as received the truth with pleasure. He drew over to him both many of the Jews and many of the Gentiles.
Right.
He was the Christ.
What was he?
The Christ. And when Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men amongst us, had condemned him to the cross, those that loved him at the first did not forsake him.
What they do?
Did not forsake him.
Y'all, they rode it to the end. The disciples. Go ahead.
For he appeared to them alive again the third day, as the divine prophets had foretold.
As the divine prophets had foretold. See, the prophets foretold 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah did it. Let's read some more.
As the divine prophets had foretold these and 10,000 other wonderful things concerning him. And the tribe of Christians, such named from him, are not extinct at this day. About the same time also, another sad calamity put the Jews into disorder. And certain shameful practices happened about the temple of Isis.
Of who?
Of Isis.
The temple of Isis was around when Josephus was doing his writings. The temple of Isis is like Catholicism. Isis was a female deity that they worshiped. Put clothes on it. Idol worship. It's saying that temple was around. Go ahead.
That was in Rome. I will now first take notice of the wicked attempt about the temple of Isis, and will give an account of the Jewish affairs. There was at Rome a woman whose name was Paulina.
What was that woman's name?
Paulina. One who, on account of the dignity of her ancestors and by the regular conduct of a virtuous life, had a great reputation. She was also very rich. And although she was of beautiful countenance, and in that flower of her age, wherein women are most great, yet did she lead a life of great modesty. She was married to Saturnius. One that was every way answerable to her in excellent character. Decius Mundulus.
So hold on, it's talking about Paulina. Just saying a church woman, y'all. modest woman, the nicest woman on earth, loved the Lord. But she was in the temple of Isis. She was loving a fake God. All her energy was into an idol God. But she loved this God so, her spirit thinking she's worshiping the right God, like nuns. Just picture a nun or what's that mother used to walk the earth, Mother Teresa. This was this woman in the temple of Isis. Not in the temple of the Israelites, in the temple of Isis. Go ahead.
Decius Mundus fell in love with this woman.
Who fell in love with her?
Decius Mundus.
He asked her, was she happy? The script says she was already happy, didn't it? Go ahead.
Fell in love with this woman, who was a man very high in the Equestrian order.
So he had little power and paper and fell in love with her. Go ahead.
And as she was of too great dignity to be caught by presents, he had already rejected them. Though they had been sent in the great abundance, he is still more inflamed with love to her.
So he knew she was married, but the love was overpowering. This is like a reverse deal of the Memphis woman in Egypt, how she was married to Pharaoh, but she couldn't get her mind off of Joseph. This man, in the same way, he can't get his mind off of this married woman that's serving in the temple of Isis. His name was Mundus, had a little paper. Go ahead.
Insomuch that he promised to give her 200,000 Attica drachmas for one night's lodging.
So, about the price of 600,000 in gold for one night. About 600,000, he say, I'll pay you just to spend the night with me. I got it like that. Indecent proposal. Absolutely, bro. Go ahead.
And when this would not prevail upon her, and he was not able to bear his misfortune in his armors, he thought it the best way to famish himself to death for want of food, on account of Paulina's sad refusal.
So he said, if I starve myself, the gods will give her to me, even though she married. I'll starve myself. Boy, look here. This the temple of Isis, though. Them they rules. They go in that church. Remember, David Koresh did the same thing. His disciple brought his wife to David Koresh's door because David Koresh said, I need to have a child by your wife. And he brought his wife to David Koresh's door and watched David close the door, and he's standing there like an idiot. And she got pregnant and had David Koresh's baby and had it like this to her husband. He like, you want to hold it? Oh, you won't look at it. How could you do that? She say, shit, you took me to his door. And now you want to hide amongst the trees like Adam, huh? You took me to the devil's door and told me have his baby. Now you don't want to look at the baby? And still to this day, that woman believes that she had a baby for the Lord. If y'all don't believe me, Google right now. Y'all got the smartphone. Woman who had baby by David Koresh still believes he was the Messiah. No, he got that from Demona in Chicago. All of that's combined in it, though. It's all in there today. Come on, y'all. Let's finish this up, y'all, while we got 7 minutes. Where you at?
And he did.
Verse what, Zeb?
It's still in verse 4.
Okay.
And he determined with himself to die after such a manner. And he went on with his purpose accordingly. And now Mundus had a freed woman who had been made free by his father, whose name was Ida, one skillful in all sorts of mischief.
In all sorts of what?
Mischief.
A root woman. Go ahead.
This woman was very much grieved at the young man's resolution to kill himself, for he did not conceal his intentions to destroy himself from others.
See, he was just crying about another man's woman. Crying like when David got run off and came back, the boy who married David's first wife illegally, when David said, go get my wife from that man, and he was falling behind crying, David men said, you better back up, player. This David's wife, you married her illegally. Right. Because David had left, he was run off by her dad. He didn't divorce her. And kept following. Say them guards told him, we done told you one more time. Mm-hmm. Don't you follow us no more. This David's wife. Just read some more.
And encouraged him by her discourse, and made him to hope by some promise she gave him, that he might obtain a night's lodging with Pauline.
So the root woman told him, I know how you can get at her. I know how to ask if she happy. I know how to tell what section she been in the grocery store. I know them vegetables she been around. Let's read some more.
And when he joyed fully, hearkening to her entreaty, she said she wanted no more than 50,000. How you say it? Drachmae?
Yeah.
Drachmae for the entrapping of the woman.
So she want to be paid for entrapping her. Look, no, this don't come by free. Yeah, you going to be the one trembling. I need some paper. I need these fingers to tremble like this. I need some of this. And I ain't talking about boogers. Go ahead. Where we at?
So when she had encouraged the young man and gotten as much money as she required, she did not take the same methods as had been taken before, because she perceived that the woman was by no means to be tempted by money.
See, because you couldn't pay her. She already had paper. How you going to tempt her with paper? She got paper. That's like the Queen of Sheba came to see Solomon. She brought him so much gold. But Solomon worth at that time, when you look up how much was Solomon's worth, it says 6 trillion. But she had paper. You understand? If she had 1 trillion, she still got money for 200 generations. Go ahead. What else to say?
But as she knew that she was very much given to the worship of the goddess Isis, she devised the following strategy. Why they got an M?
Yeah, stratagem. That means it got multiple levels to it. Go ahead.
She went to some of Isaiah's priests, and upon the strongest assurance of concealment, she persuaded them by words, but chiefly by the offer of money of 25,000 drachmae in hand, and as much more when the thing had taken effect, and told them the possession of the young man, and persuaded them to use all means possible to beguile the woman.
See, so just like Jezebel, Abel crying and weeping, he wants this man land that this man's father left for him. The man said, you can't give me enough money. This is an inheritance. I can't sell my father's inheritance. He crying, so his wife Jezebel into full Baal worship and got 450 priests behind her. She said, man, what you whining about, nothing, Ahab? I want that piece of land over there. He said his daddy gave it to him. She say, man, go in there and watch TV or something. I'll be back. Got with them priests, they trumped up charges on that man about his land, and they put him to death, and she brought the deed back. Here, old crying, man, that a deed is. You got it, didn't you, baby? You got it, didn't you? That's when 1 Corinthians 11 mean if a man have long hair. That's the problem. Ahab had long hair. He had the wife of his woman, meaning her character in that situation. He's whining like a woman. If they go to the movie, he got his head on her chest. They walking in the movie like this. And he laid right here. Give me 2 for the sucker man. Yeah, 2 for the sucker man.
Say if they spoon and she behind.
Yeah, look here, boy. Look here. Go ahead, bro. Let's finish this up.
He all like that.
Yeah, he like that. Yeah, sucking his thumb. Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Oh, by the way, Uriah said that was a good one. That was a classic you threw earlier. That quick wit. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, there's something else there, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So they were drawn into the promise so to do by that large sum of gold they were to have.
That paper.
According to the oldest of them, went immediately to Paulina, and upon his admittance, he desired to speak with that he was sick by the god Anubis.
So he basically saying, I'm bringing a message to you. This from the god Anubis. If you look at that, that's the god of Egypt that had the dog head and the woman body. That's the god Anubis or whatever his name is. But y'all look it up. That's the god. Dog head. Go ahead. Where we at?
Who was falling in love with her and enjoyed her to come to him.
See, so they're saying that God loves you. He loves you. He want to be. He said, you such a good servant. You're such a good servant. Go ahead.
Upon this, she took the message very kindly and valued herself greatly upon the condensation of Anubis, and told her husband that she had a message sent to her.
Sound familiar, y'all, like the Garden of Eden? Somebody saying they God didn't come to me, and I go tell my husband about it. Let's read some more.
And was supped to lie with Anubis. So he agreed her.
Read that over. Start that over where she went to her husband.
Okay, let me find it. And told her husband that she had a message sent to her, and was to sup and lie with Anubis. So he agreed to her acceptance of the offer.
So he agreed to the acceptance of the offer. God wants me to have dinner with him. And he wants me to sleep. God wants to sleep with me. And he looking like, God wants to sleep with you, my woman. But, okay, if it was God. It's Anubis, I'm telling you, it's dog head. So he agreed to it. Now, this is what we're saying when Satan offered Eve the fruit. If Adam was there, he told Adam the same thing, and she told him. Look, I said, a man, look, he want to sleep with me. He say, I'm going to have a baby by God. And Adam's standing there like that. Oh, yeah? But look, that's going to set us straight. We going to be God's, because I'm going to have God's baby in my stomach. That's why Eve said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Mm-hmm. Satan been doing this practice a long time. He been pulling dog head moves for a long time. Dog head moving was going on in the garden. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's finish this out.
So he agreed to her acceptance of the offer, as fully satisfied with the chastity of his wife. Accordingly, she went to the temple, and after she had supped there, and it was the hour to go to sleep, the priest shut the doors of the temple. When the holy part of it, the lights were also put out.
So she in the temple waiting on dog head to show up. They done extinguished the lights, put it out in the holy. And look, they let her come into the holies of their temple and let her come in there. So she's really feeling like I'm the chosen one. And they turn out the lights. Go ahead.
Then did Mundus.
Turn them off. Go ahead. I just wanted.
Then did Mundus leap out.
What'd he do?
Leap out. For he was hidden therein, and did not fail of enjoying her.
Did not fail. Went to work in pitch black darkness in their temple. Go ahead.
Who was at his service all night long, as supposing he was a god. And when he was gone away, which was before those priests who knew nothing of the strategy, were stirring, Paulina came early to her husband and told him how the god Anubis had appeared to her. Among her friends also she declared how great a value she put upon his favor, who partly disbelieved the thing when they reflected on its nature, and partly were amazed at it.
So they reflected on his nature. How you know it was God? Did he have hands? Was he rubbing? Was he caressing? Did he have Hennessy and sunflower seeds? We need to know what kind of God was this. What tools did he use? Go ahead.
As having no pretense for not believing it, when they considered the modesty of the dignity of the person. But now, on the third day after what had been done, Mundus met Paulina and said, Nay, Paulina.
What'd he say?
Nay, Paulina. Thou hast saved me 200,000 drachmae. Wow.
Look, you done saved me some paper, girl, because I had a bet that I was going to get you. You done saved me some paper. I won the bet. Go ahead. What else it say?
Which some thou mightest have added to thy own family. Yet hast thou not failed to be at my service in the manner I invited thee. As for the reproaches thou hast laid upon Mundus, I value not the business of the names, but I reject in the pleasure I reap by what I did, while I took myself the name of Anubis.
Read that again. Well, see, it's talking in a language like you talk two different people talking at the same time. So, you know, you got to kind of read like from that period. Like, I took the name of Anubis. So she's saying like, that was my God. I took it like that. But go ahead, read that. Just read that verse again.
You got to find where I was at, man. This stuff is little.
You need these?
I rejoice.
Oh, you got them on. Go ahead. You need them M&Ms, some Mr. Magoo's. Don't you? Go ahead. Where we at? Where we at, Zay? Go ahead.
I got to find where I was now.
Oh, I ain't going to interrupt you no more.
I value not the business of the name,
right?
But I rejoice in the pleasure I reap by what I did, while I took to myself the name of Anubis. When he had said this, he went his way. But now she began to come to the sense of the grossness of what she had done.
See, now you come to the sense of the grossness. I done played the harlot. I done played the harlot. It's grossness now. Go ahead, bro.
And rent her garments and told her husband of the horrid nature of this wicked contrivance, and prayed him not to neglect to assist her in this case. So he discovered the fact to the emperor, whereupon Tiberius inquired into the matter thoroughly.
So what's happening here, y'all, is she finally told her husband what happened. I got tricked. I got played. They played me and you. And he looking at her like, no, they played you, but you're my one flesh. I allowed you. I brought a threesome into our household. I didn't bring another woman. It's two men and my wife. I let palandry, meaning a woman with two husbands, I brought that into my household. Y'all finish reading the rest of that, y'all, because what I wanted to show y'all is just that practice about false gods would try to mimic what the Father told the seed of a woman gonna bruise the head of the serpent. That was a supernatural deal. So Satan has been trying to get in to cause this like this. And you'll see a mirror image in the Proviangelon of James. Let me get Matthew 1, y'all, and Ecclesiastes 5, and we're going to close out. Matthew 1:18. But what you're seeing here is what Satan has been trying to mimic, the virgin birth, for the longest. David Koresh tried to mimic it. But, y'all, it's the same fleshly corruption. The father will never tell anybody or go into anybody's wife and commit adultery. The Holy Spirit overshadowed Mary, had not one temperature of lust on it. She didn't even feel nothing when the Holy Spirit came over her. The next thing she know, 30 days, her menstrual stopped. The minute she said, I believe, conception hit her right then. Because remember, she was at Elizabeth's house when John jumped in Elizabeth's belly because the conception of Mary was there. Now, was Christ born in December?
No.
Conception or live birth? Which one? Conception or live birth? Which one? Probably conceived in December. 9 months later, put it where? September. Feast of Tabernacles. That week of where he is, just like the Feast of Tabernacles in Zechariah 14, Joel 3, his birthday. That's his true birthday. We don't know the day, we know the week. So that's, if you say, somebody say, it was Christ born in December, just ask them conception and live birth. And the reason it's like this, because when we get to this Matthew 1, it's going to immediately talk about Zechariah being in the temple. John the Baptist's dad. Why does it start with him? And then it said his wife was barren. It starts with him. It said he was running his course. Because First Chronicles 27 say the priest had course. His course ran from what we call December to June. It was 6 months. When his course was over, after the angel came to him, he went home to his wife. And it said in the 6th month of her pregnancy, then Mary, if his course was over in June, 6 months later, Elizabeth's pregnant. What month is that if we just use this calendar? If he went home in June, 6 months later, she's 6 months pregnant. What month is that? Boy, y'all done got rid of this calendar, ain't y'all? No, 6 months later. If he went home in June and went home 6 months later, what month is that if we looking at this calendar? December. So she was 6 months when Mary conceived. So that's why when somebody asks you, was he born in December, you just ask them, conception or live birth? Live birth, you can't prove that live birth. You can prove conception based off of Matthew 1 of Zechariah being in the temple, running his course for the months, and then he went home in June. And it says she conceived, and she was 6 months. That put it December, don't it? If Mary conceived in December, it wasn't live birth, but it was conception.
Right.
9 months later is the birth. Where that put us?
That put us in September.
That put us in September.
Because, I mean, if he was born in a manger, the sheep would be in a manger in the wintertime, and they don't eat frozen grass, so.
Look, because John 10 say he was in Jerusalem at the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter.
Right.
Feast of Dedication in December. It was winter. So we knew it wasn't that time because it's winter. But September, the shepherds are still out in the field watching over the flock. You ain't out there like this in the cold, watching over the flock cold. Never happened. You bring him into the barn, you feed him in the barn. What you got said?
And shepherds take good care of their sheep. Like our shepherd takes care of us, his sheep.
Yeah.
Shepherds don't have their sheep out in the freezing cold. They bring them in.
Right.
That's like the Lord to have us out in the cold. He said, no, I can't. Well, I'm going to have y'all. I'm going to provide shelter for y'all. I'm a husbandman, Ezekiel 16 chapter. I provide. I put a covering over y'all. I put y'all in the best clothes, the best shoes, and then when the time of love came, I spread my covering over you. But I proved first that I can take care of y'all. Right. Finish that out, y'all. Let's get what we at on that.
That's it.
That's it on that. Real quick, y'all. Matthew 1, 18 through 25. And then we just going to, y'all read all Ecclesiasticus for the final. We're going to close out, y'all, because we after the hour. But I really need to read that Matthew 1, 18.
Now, that Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiasticus?
That's in the Bible, 5th chapter, Solomon, right? Ecclesiastes, yeah. In the Bible, 5th chapter. Y'all read that for homework, and he's going to tell you why we must seek that other rest and why we must enjoy the fruits of this labor. Y'all, you got to have a good time. This life is not for us to be miserable, even though it's miserable because death is involved. But you still can have a good life. He just don't want you focusing on a life because you think you get $1 million. Right. Your life is made better. You know what? That don't stop the death angel. The death angel showed up at Bob Saget's house in his hotel room that night. And you can't buy him off. Ecclesiastes 8:8 says there's no discharge in that war when the devil comes. You cannot stop him. He said, I got permission from Yahweh. I got to take the breath from this individual's body.
Right.
There's no discharge in that war. Let's finish this up, y'all, and close out. Any questions out there, too, Bob?
You can read, too. You finna read that. Don't try to put that on me.
You see how
You
slow I
had me
turned?
Josephus.
Somebody asked about the radio show. Yo, right now it's going through a little maintenance from what I understand. If the word came clear to Jake a little later this afternoon that the maintenance was complete, then he'll be on. If not, he won't be on tonight, but he'll let everybody know. Go ahead, let's finish this out.
All right, y'all, we're going to be reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 1. Start the reading in verse 18.
Yes, sir.
Now the birth of Yeshua HaMashiach was on this wise.
What was the birth?
It was the birth of Yeshua HaMashiach, and it was on this wise.
Yeah, on this bit of wisdom. Go ahead.
When as his mother, Mary, was espoused to Joseph. Before they came together.
Before they did what?
Came together. She was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily.
See, he was mindful because he didn't want to be like Noah's brother Ner. He was threatening her. I want to put my foot up in your, how you pregnant?
Right.
Boy, let me, you better get on out of here, woman, for they be calling me the old woman bastard. Get your out of here.
Yep.
How you an old pregnant woman? How that's going to make me look down at the lodge?
Oh, that's what you worried about?
Yeah. He said, I'll be a laughing stock. But he was careful that he didn't strike with his hand. He didn't let his anger take him over the top.
Right.
Because he still have to figure out, how were you this old and you got pregnant? We still got some issues here, whether I hit you upside the head or not. Right. I don't care who you been with. I want to know how your internal workings, the clock start ticking again. Let's finish that up, bro.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Most High appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost.
Well, ain't that like the Most High still having another man he espoused to her? So, who's Adam's daddy? Who put the seed in the earth for Adam? See, y'all, it's clear there's only two men on earth that ever called the Son of God, the Son of God, Adam and the Messiah. Because both of them father is who? Who's Adam's dad?
Messiah.
Right. But through what? The holy what? He didn't come down here and get with the dirt.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yeshua.
Right.
For he shall save his people from their sin. Now all this was done, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of by the Most High, by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is Yah with us. So Isaiah's son could have never been the prophet. Even though his wife was called a virgin, she had been with a man before. She had been with Isaiah before. Before the prophecy came down, she had been with a man. Was she past age? Could have been. And had a child, but she's been with a man before. This prophecy on this wise said, have never known a man. And you know what they try to say, them camps? That means because it was arranged marriage, she didn't know who Joseph was. I'm like, y'all.
I heard somebody say that before.
Like they had to introduce a Joseph. This is Mary. Mary, this is Joseph. This gonna be your husband. but you're going to be pregnant while he going working on houses. That ain't what the prophets say.
No.
That's what separated from being Isaiah's son, Matashahalarala, that's mentioned in Isaiah 8. Did I say that name right? I know I did.
No.
But his name means the spoiler, not Emmanuel, the Savior, but means the receiver of booty. And I'm talking about Jews, not of a woman. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 24.
Yeah.
Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Most High had bidden him, and took unto him his wife.
Here's the kicker.
And knew her not.
And knew her what?
And knew her not. Till she had brought forth her firstborn son. And he called his name Yeshua.
Now, if they say that meant it was an arranged marriage, then she didn't know him. Then this is two saying he took her to wife and she still didn't know his name. She didn't know him, right? I mean, she still wasn't introduced. They just got married. I ain't going to tell you my name yet. It don't make sense, do it, y'all. Well, but I'm saying, but if you use she didn't know a man, you still have to use it for this last verse, and it ain't gonna work. It's saying she knew not Joseph, so it's letting you know the no was like Adam knew Eve and she bare Cain.
So he wasn't even talking to her saying how you get pregnant?
No, none of that.
Didn't know her.
Y'all read all Ecclesiastic 5th chapter, y'all, is going to tell us why we must seek that eternal rest. Solomon had all the wisdom in the world on this earth. When you read in 1 Kings 4th chapter, it say his wisdom exceeded Dodo and Wobo. I can't remember the names of them, but they wrote Psalms 89 and 90. Those authors is the one that they said Solomon's wisdom excelled theirs. Solomon's wealth was worth about 6 trillion. He had army, navy, he had horses, he had 1,000 women. And he said, all is vanity. All of that wealth, all of that wisdom, and I couldn't withstand this woman telling me she want to worship her God in the house that I built for. Because when you read about this, Solomon wasn't no hobo Hebrew. It say he built houses for the daughter. He built houses, ground up. Wasn't no putting the curtain up to cover a space between the kitchen and the living room. No, it wasn't them kind of rooms. Houses, palaces. And when you read that 5th chapter, it's going to sum up what we're talking about. Life more abundantly, so you won't be looking at King Solomon like he was it, because the Messiah told you, he said, you see these lilies in the field and how they spin around and how they're arrayed. He said, I tell you what, these are 10 times more arrayed than Solomon in all his glory. Did I say something wrong? Wrong word?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he wasn't no. Well, he was stunning at first. The Queen of Sheba said he was the chief stunner. But the daughters of Pharaoh convinced him to worship Molech in the temple of the Most High.
Now that's crazy. The daughter convinced you, but you've been blessed by the Most High with all wisdom and understanding in the world. And how can you be convinced being you've been blessed with wisdom?
Because that other rest wasn't on your mind.
Right.
I got to leave these trillions behind the Rehoboam and Jeroboam who went crazy. They went crazy with Solomon's wealth. Y'all understand that? The tribe split after that.
Yes, sir.
What? What I say number 2? Oh, okay. Go ahead, go ahead. Where we at? Yeah. Y'all, it ain't hard, y'all. When you get old and you can't handle 700 women anymore, you're going to give them what they want. You're going to give them what they want. You have to understand that, y'all. 1 Corinthians 7. The man that's married, that's not married, care for the Lord. The man that's married, care for the things of his wife. When you get old, y'all ain't going to be able to do what y'all used to do. You may have your own room when you get old. Yeah. Go look in your daddy's room. Let's get it, Joe.
All right, family, we're going to get this closed in prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 39th chapter, it reads, I said, I will take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue.
Yes, sir.
I will keep my mouth with a bridle, while the wicked is before me. I was done with silence. I held my peace, even from good, and my sorrow was stirred. My heart was hot within me, while I was musing the fire burned. Then spake I with my tongue, Master, make me to know mine end, and the measure of my days, what it is, that I may know how frail I am. Behold, thou hast made my days as an handbreadth, and mine age is nothing before thee. Verily, every man at his best state is altogether vanity. Selah.
Selah.
Surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches, and knoweth not who shall gather them. And now, Yahweh, what wait I for? My hope is in thee. Deliver me from all my transgression. Make me not the reproach of the foolish. I was dumb, I opened not my mouth, because thou didst it. Remove thy stroke away from me. I am consumed by the blow of thine hand. When thou with rebukes dost correct man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Surely every man is vanity. Selah.
Selah.
Hear my prayer, O Yahweh, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner as all my fathers were. Oh, spare me, that I may go recover strength, before I go hence, and be no more.
Hallelujah! Selah! All praises, y'all. Y'all got a shekel or two. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, worldwide audience, for y'all continued support of the ministry, y'all. Once again, y'all, we asking for prayers to go up, y'all, for the house of Mike Buggs.
Yes, sir.
There's a widow and two short-leggers left, y'all, to fend without their father, but the Most High got them.
Yes, sir.
Y'all can reach out to them, y'all, if y'all able to, and send that sister and them children some words of comfort.